Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
You made it. We did it. We're here. NFL starts tonight, Perloff, and beyond the Chiefs three-peat, which you and I have talked about, we made our Super Bowl picks yesterday. Good morning, by the way.
Good morning.
Us, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff.
By the way, it's like, we made our Super Bowl picks yesterday?
Don't do this.
That's a new bit where I completely forgot what we did yesterday.
Yeah, Perloff forgot his Heisman pick 4 days after he made it.
But it's funny, you say we made it to the NFL season, tonight's opening night, obviously. It feels like it's been going on forever, too, because it doesn't end. It's been an incredible offseason. College started. I'm full in. I know you are. I feel like we've been swimming in this pool. Let's go.
Now, you and I have already kind of drawn our line in the sand about what we think about the Chiefs three-peat, right? And this is one of the biggest stories of the year. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a long time for this one to pay off. But it's the biggest, if not one of the biggest storylines, is whether or not the Chiefs can pull this off. I've already told you. I think that if Patrick Mahomes pulls off the three-peat, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. He takes it over Brady. Brady never did this. Brady did 7 over 20 years. This would be 3. No one's ever done it. Nobody can touch Mahomes if he's able to have this kind of peak dominance. Very Jordan-like.
It's a big if, Maggie.
Big if.
If Zion Williamson wins 7 titles, he's better than Michael Jordan. What are we doing here? This is so speculative.
They're much closer. They're much closer.
I don't even know if it's the biggest storyline of the Chiefs.
What's bigger?
Come on.
Don't do it.
Come on.
Don't fall
Will
into
he or won't he? I mean, it's not even
week
close.
One, for
but they're not
sake.
even. You can't even compare those two things. Which we'll see what happens tonight. Which think people care about a three-peat when we got Taylor Swift in the crowd? By the way, is she there tonight? I have not heard anything on this.
She'll come to the opening of an envelope. We realized. Of course, she's going to be there. She took her behind to Buffalo. Like, yes, she's going to be at every game, guys. Like, this is. I think the novelty a little bit of the Taylor stuff has worn off, but the Chiefs three-peat to me is far and away the number one thing. And then I think the second biggest storyline or thereabouts is whether or not Lamar Jackson is finally going to cash in on all of this talent and all of these accolades to the tune of a Super Bowl. And I quite frankly don't want to hear any excuses for him. I would say as a team, I think the 49ers have the most pressure. As an individual, Lamar Jackson should be feeling the most pressure. Since when do we give awards and accolades and not expect winning? You can't do 2 MVPs, Perloff, and be like, well, all right, he can just make it to the AFC Championship game. That's not how this thing works, the way that we talk about sports and our types of expectations. If you have a player poll that says Josh Allen is the most overrated player, where did Lamar come in on that poll? Because I don't think he's overrated. I think these things are BS. But if you're talking about someone who needs to validate all of the MVPs with a Super Bowl, it's Lamar. And who even is in his stratosphere here?
Yeah, people don't view Lamar Jackson that way. He's never going to get that kind of national attention.
Why?
Well, everyone knows he gets the MVP, but no one thinks he's the best player because that's Mahomes. It's just,
the players said he was the best quarterback.
You keep saying player polls. They mean less than. You could go interview random people on the street. The player polls are useless. They've never been an accurate gauge of anything. Like, look at that's why they don't let players vote on all these awards because they just vote for their friends. They're not even watching half. If you don't play that team, you don't even see them play. So who are they to vote on anything?
Okay, but it's not like Lamar is toiling in obscurity here.
But it doesn't. I think that the bottom line is everyone knows that people around Lamar are flawed offensively for years. The Ravens are great on defense, and they cannot figure out their offense. They just keep on rotating scrubs through his wide receiver room. And I think it's a well-known fact that all the pieces are not there in Baltimore. They never have been.
Okay.
And you see it in the playoffs. You might be able to run all over everyone during the regular season because you're a great running team. But come playoffs, the formula is not there, and it's not on Lamar.
This is the most loser mentality argument I've ever heard when it comes to Lamar Jackson. First of all, give Aaron Rodgers a top defense every year, and let's see what Aaron Rodgers would have been able to do.
Probably choke in the playoffs just like Lamar Jackson.
I don't think so.
I saw it.
in his prime, which is what Lamar is in.
He won 2 MVPs and choked in both those playoff games. Choked.
His defense was bottom of the league.
Defense for the held
Ravens,
San Francisco to nothing, and he couldn't score on that cold night in Green Bay. That was on him just as much as the defense.
The luxury that Lamar has of having this type of defense season after season after season. And quite frankly, I don't want to hear about the wide receiver part either, because I watched Patrick Mahomes win Super Bowls with a bunch of people who can't even barely play on other teams, number one. And number two, what is the biggest reputation about the Baltimore Ravens, besides being a ferocious defense, and they always have a really great defensive unit? Great drafting team, great personnel team. They're the ones who win trades. They're the ones who are always coming out on top. So quite frankly, I don't want to hear it. And the other part, too, is I don't want to hear about bad receivers when this is a quarterback who we're putting in 2-time MVP rarefied air. If you have bad wide receivers and you're Tua, okay, maybe Tua can't hang with bad wide receivers. Maybe Jared Goff can't get off with bad wide receivers. Not 2-time MVPs. If you're going to give somebody that many accolades, you've got to expect that person raises the play of the people around him, like Mahomes would do, like Joe Burrow would do, maybe like Josh Allen, I'm not sure.
Oh, my God.
Lamar being able to skate on these expectations to me is loser energy. And the guy's not, I don't consider him a loser, but you're applying loser energy to him. You're making excuses for him when that we would not do that for any other person.
Well, okay, loser energy, non-loser. But the reality is they have a reputation for being great and taking mid-round picks and making them awesome on defense. But they also do have the reputation of making bad picks on offense very consistently. And everyone knows they get bad wide receivers. That's just as common a perception as the fact that they have great defensive players? No, I mean, the Rashad Batemans of the world, the Devin Duvernays, like they can't find receivers. And last year they get a good one in Zay Flowers. It turns out he's a total idiot and blows the game for them in the AFC title game. I mean,
a lot more than just Zay Flowers. That was a bad moment, but
it really was not a lot more than Zay Flowers. There was also Nelson Aguilar, who stinks. Aguilar, I mean, he dropped the ball in the AFC title game too. He's had nothing but Mark Andrews for 5 years. They brought in the ghost of OBJ. And I mean, this is like, it can't get worse in this wide receiver room. And they're always like, we're going to fix it. And not only that, Patrick Mahomes has Andy Reid. Look at what Lamar Jackson's had. I mean, I understand.
John Harbaugh is probably going to the Hall of Fame.
Do you offensively, who would you rather have as a coach? I'm just saying, I forget the head coach. So who are the play callers? I know Todd Monken seemed to turn things around last year, but generally Lamar Jackson has not had Andy Reid. If you gave him Andy Reid and built an offense over 5 years, I mean, he would be much better passing. That's just because Andy Reid,
excuses for Lamar Jackson. Who was Julian Edelman? Who were any of these guys? Like you're talking like you need to have this amazing wide receiver core. Like you have to have the Chris Carter, Randy Moss combination to possibly have success in this league. It doesn't work like that. And by the way, this is again what the pressure that comes with the quarterback's shoulders, right? This is it. You elevate the offense. And the thing about the Ravens, they took Lamar Jackson late in the first round, 2018, famously. So many teams passed on him. And the reason why it's been able to work to this point, or why Lamar even has this success, is because they've dedicated building an offense around Lamar. So it's not like they're throwing him out here and it's like, man, we're really trying to jam a square peg into a round hole. No, they're doing the opposite. This is a team that's done everything for the quarterback. And yet it's acted like, oh gosh, the Ravens haven't done enough. None of this is Lamar's fault. What?
Let me give you some
That's
examples.
Crazy.
Building around a quarterback is the Eagles bringing in A.J. Brown to help fix Jalen Hurts. The Bills bring in Stefon Diggs to help fix Josh Allen. Give me that move for the Ravens. Who is it?
They're spending first-round picks on guys.
Who stink. I mean, honestly.
Do they stink or can the quarterback not get them the ball?
Oh, yeah, he definitely can get the ball. Lamar is a really good downfield passer.
I know.
In part because the defense is so freaked out about him running that he could extend plays forever. Honestly, the play calling was terrible in the AFC title game. Why they gave up on the run. So
I mean, that was a terrible game all around.
Yeah, but that's so typical of them. They've not been a great offensive team. Take Lamar out. There's so many mistakes on the coaching front, too. I think, that being said, I think that they're going to get the Chiefs. I think that
tonight or this season?
This season. I think somebody gets. I mean, they are so hell-bent on revenge right now.
Yeah.
I hope they don't use all their bullets. I would even play a vanilla offensive game plan and save it for the playoffs against the Chiefs. I mean, they must be sitting there and looking at that game last year that they lost in the AFC title game and saying, oh, my God, we were the better team. From top to bottom, we should have beaten this team by 2 touchdowns. And they completely, as a team, to me, I know Lamar had a terrible interception, but as a team, they completely panicked. I think that they thought Kansas City knows how to win. We do not know how to win. And that is not, maybe that's on the quarterback. I don't know, but I feel like.
I've watched John Harbaugh win a Super Bowl, tight games. I've watched John Harbaugh coach. It's not like he forgot how. It's not like the coach can't win a big game.
Yeah, but this team is, I mean, they're overachieving. I mean, there are a lot of late round picks out there who are doing good things. Like, this is team, they're not overly talented, right? Like, if you look at
Ravens?
The Ravens, like, what? Who are the guys? Like, look at the other teams around the league. The Ravens are basically Lamar Jackson and a prayer. They really so good. They're bringing in Derrick Henry at 31. That's their big. I mean, nobody wants Derrick Henry at 31. I'm just telling you, they are not a great personnel around them. They have had some great offensive linemen. They've come and gone. But generally, though, I do not consider that a very talented roster. Do you think they're, like, super talented around?
Well, I'm watching, them
they win.
Get the number one seed and have home field advantage last year.
They're super well coached. They're very disciplined, and they have Lamar Jackson. That's why they're basically winning 13, 14 games. We'll see if they can do it this year.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think there's a rule. If you sign a guy from the Ravens, get ready to be disappointed because they're not that talented. This goes back for years. You take someone off the Ravens defense and give him $50 million, that guy's going to be a bust.
855-212-4227. Lamar Jackson and facing criticism. I just don't know how he skates on it. It's like, well, Lamar, he's doing the best he can out there. Like,
yeah, kind of.
What are we doing? Yeah, like he's playing out there with like, the high school JV team, and it's just him. Like that's not accurate. By the way, just a note for you for tonight: Lamar 1-4 against the Chiefs, including last year's postseason failure in the AFC Championship game. He's just not been good against Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. Meanwhile, Mahomes on the other side has been awesome against the Ravens. Ravens defense. Mahomes completing 73% of his passes against the Ravens in those 5 starts, along with a 13-2 touchdown to interception ratio. Never had a fumble against the Baltimore Ravens either. Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I did not know it was like that. I was like, man, I knew obviously the AFC Championship game, but that wasn't, that was Mahomes and Kelce in the first half, 11 for 11. Kelce had over 100 yards receiving. But the second half, that was all about the defense.
Honestly, let's get back to that game for 1 second. So you put that game on Lamar.
Lamar did not play well in that game, Perloff. You're revisionist historying this thing if you say any otherwise. Yeah, the game plan was bad. They got away from the run inexplicably in a close game. Like, why you get away from the run in a close game?
What was that about?
Well, they blew it. They blew it.
Also, too, it was 17-7 at the end of the third quarter, and they were in the red zone, and Zay Flowers fumbled at the goal line.
Yep, the Legarius Sneed that knocked it out.
Yeah, it should be 17-14 going into the fourth quarter at home in Baltimore.
You had how many more possessions? I think they had 4 more possessions.
Yeah, but still
3 more.
If they had scored that point, I think Baltimore wins that game. And I think, that is a defining play of that game.
It is, but again, wasn't it in the third quarter?
It was the end of the third quarter.
It's not like you never got the ball back.
Yeah, but you did get the ball back, but you're down 10 going into the fourth quarter as compared to down 3. The tide had changed in that game in a big way. I think Kansas City was playing a little conservatively, but Baltimore, they definitely, in my opinion, they win that game. Maybe even handily, like by 4 or 5 points, because Kansas City couldn't do anything on offense. Finally, Baltimore woke up and started covering Travis Kelce.
What other 2-time MVP quarterback would you not say, if they have the ball needing a score at the end of the game, you are scared to death of that person, like we do with Mahomes. Mahomes, he's got the ball at the end of the game. Good night. Rodgers, Brady, Peyton Manning in his prime, maybe. Lamar Jackson should be that way.
Those guys have
considering
lost
all the accolades.
Those guys, by everyone you named, has lost countless playoff games.
But one way more.
Peyton Manning was no better. The MVP to championship ratio for a long time was not super great for Peyton either.
I understand
and
that.
For Rodgers,
but I don't think
for a lot of these guys.
I don't think there's the fear right now that if you have the game on Lamar Jackson's right arm, that he's going to be able to get you that score. Home, away, doesn't matter. I don't think he has that. He doesn't strike fear like that. And I think that's why Mike Sando from The Athletic does quarterback tiers. And Lamar is awesome, but he's not. He was actually at the top of tier 2.
Right. But that's what I think everybody...
Not tier 1 for a 2-time MVP.
I know this might not mean anything. I think everybody views Lamar Jackson the same way. I don't think there's like a wide variance of views. Everyone thinks, yeah, he's really, really good.
Right.
He hasn't gotten over the top. He's not Mahomes. He might win the MVP, but he's just not Patrick Mahomes. Is that such a crime in these days, Maggie? It's like not being Michael Jordan. Like Karl Malone and Charles Barkley were great. It doesn't mean they were less great because they weren't Michael Jordan. They were still all-time players.
Right, but what do people say about those MVPs? They should have just gone to Jordan. It was just like, not when Jordan was playing baseball, but just the idea that it was just Jordan fatigue. It's like, not that Mahomes should not be winning it every single year.
Well, no, but I mean, the Barkley and Malone ones are not the egregious ones. Like, I think there were a couple that, yes, that definitely should have gone to Jordan, but Barkley and Malone are still amazing, though. Like, there's nothing wrong with their legacies, right? I mean, I know they didn't win a title, but it's Jordan's fault.
855-212-4227. Should we hit the phones just early here? Football's back, guys. Let's go to Wayne. He's in Dallas. Disagrees with me about Lamar. Wayne, good morning, sir.
Morning. How y'all doing this morning?
We're excited. We got football to watch. We got NFL football. College has already been back, which has been dope.
Right.
We're excited for tonight.
Yes, ma'am. I have to agree with you, Maggie. I have to agree with Zerloff. When Lamar went to the Ravens had missed the playoffs 3 straight years under Joe Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
Was about to miss it the 4th year, 4 and 5. Lamar has had the least to work with and has done the most out of all the young quarterbacks. When you think about just Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, he hasn't had a true number 1 receiver. Like, I agree with you 100%, Zerloff. And then the game plan in the playoffs, why go away from the run on the Chiefs? You had Gus Edwards averaging 7 yards a carry on 3 carries. The Chiefs was at the bottom half in run defense, but at the top in pass.
Yeah.
Why play into the strength? It's like you're trying to prove that Lamar is better than Mahomes, which we know he's not.
Right.
But it's like they was out to prove that instead of just execute the game plan, and they win that game. So that's my insight on that.
Thought a little ego got involved there, Wayne. A little ego trying to go for style points when you really just got to win the game. Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate that. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Have you considered going to Zerloff?
Oh yeah,
I kind of like that better.
Zoloft and Perloff.
That's a good combo.
They went to pass because Kansas City put every single player in the box and be like, "You're not running on us," and they fell like. Kansas City pulled a mind game on them. It's like dared them to pass.
Right.
And I, as someone who is mentally weak in athletics, I probably would have fallen for it too. Yeah, once again, like Todd Monk and the OC came in and really did a lot to help Lamar as a passer. He was awesome in the second half of the year, but I'm not sure he's big time like the Chiefs coaching staff.
I just disagree with Wayne on the point that, okay, does Lamar Jackson have A.J. Brown or does he have Stefon Diggs? Does he have that receiver? No. But again, the luxury of a top 3 defense every year. What if Justin Herbert didn't have anything like that?
Well, that defense is helped because Lamar gets so many first downs, too, and they're not on the field as much.
Okay, so it's complimentary, but, like, that is a good Ravens defense. And have a top defense, again, ask Aaron Rodgers how he would have liked to have that when the offensive side of the ball was fine and the defensive side of the ball let him down. Like, it's not like Lamar's got nothing. Just because he doesn't have a consensus $35 million a year receiver doesn't mean that he's out there bare bones.
I mean, you're right. It's way worse than bare bones. It's guys who actually stink. Aguilar. I mean, bare bones.
Ordered a lot of sushi for us.
Honestly.
In a restaurant in L.A.
I mean, I would argue it's a bigger narrative that the Ravens can't find receivers than Lamar is a playoff choker because this has been a tough road. I mean, the guys they've put through that building are not good, Maggie.
855-212-4227. All right, we're up. NFL tonight. Lamar Jackson, I think the player with the most pressure, the team with the most pressure on them this year, 49ers for me. Oof. Tough. That Monday Nighter.
I think the Cowboys have some pressure, too.
I don't know. Everyone's out on the Cowboys, including me. I don't even have them making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody's out on them.
We'll get into that in a little bit.
I think I'm kind of bummed because I wanted them to sign Dak before the season. If they pass on Dak, if they don't sign Dak, that's a lot of pressure. And you know it, Maggie.
We have a lot more to do, including I'm just going to alert everybody this morning. I'm obsessed with a certain story.
Oh,
I just cornered the janitor. I was like, Yusef, have you seen what's going on? I've got a couple articles I'm just going to forward to you. Take them a look at your own time.
I call it the Shohei Ohtani interpreter energy from Maggie.
I got really obsessed with that story.
Oh, yeah. Once you get a hold of you're like a dog who just gets you just
I know.
Really, it's sort of the conspiracy theorist in you with JFK.
Yeah, I think it's like the journalism part of me. I'm like, I got to know everything. I got to get to the bottom of this.
Right. But it's not like your biggest stories. It's always a side story that the intrigue. I think you like stories where there is something going on behind the scenes. A level. You like the level 2, level 3, level 4. Who is really turning the wheels of power?
Honestly, we're just scratching the surface on this thing.
Yeah,
who wants to come with me down the rabbit hole? Come.
You're telling me that this guy is betting on women's soccer and Shohei doesn't know?
Still doesn't add up.
Oh, yeah.
They're spending every waking moment together, and he's got no idea he's ever placed one bet? Come on. I know who Pat Boyle's got 15 bets tonight. I know half of them. He hasn't even told me.
Just a warning, if you run into Maggie Gray in public, do not ask her about Shohei's interpreter because you'll get cornered for 20 minutes. And do not ask about this NFL story that came out yesterday. Just avoid it at all costs because you're going to lose a half hour.
That's it. Time's melting away with this story. I can't get off of it. We'll tell you about it next. 855-212-4227. Okay, sports fans, listen up. Did you know that 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect? This is serious stuff. So that's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. It's super important because health is a long game, and it's yours to win. I have so many important men in my life, obviously. I encourage them all to go get screened.
Oh, Maggie Gray on the radio waves, talking sports and scores and the games we crave. But when she's done with touchdowns and three-point shots, she dives into conspiracies and connects the dots. Oh, Maggie Gray, with your wild theories, you make history sound like a daytime series. From grassy knolls to the CIA, what will you dream of today? JFK wasn't just a simple case. I got the scoop right here on my plate. She's got a playbook full of suspects, from mob bosses to alien insects. Oh, Maggie Gray, with your wild theories, you make history sound like a daytime series. From grassy knolls to the CIA, what will you dream of today? Oh, Maggie Gray, with your wild theories, you make his state plot. Maybe it's something that we all forgot. She breaks it down like a post-game review, analyzing every clue. Oh, Mel, you're true. Oh, Maggie Gray, with your wild theories, you make history sound like a daytime series. From grassy knolls to the CIA, what will you dream of today? With your wild theories, you make history sound like a daytime series. From grassy knolls to the CIA, what will you dream of today? Soon. Oh, Peter,
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining.
On the wings of my dream.
45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining.
You don't have to answer.
Fifteen seconds.
Right at the Rose Bowl where no big deal, Penn State demolished, dominated, controlled number 8.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. I'm not sure the best strategy for this. Do I let you dive into the Washington Commanders vice president story now, or do we save it? Is it going to be like ripping a Band-Aid? I know you. I know you're obsessed, and I got to be honest, you got me obsessed yesterday. But I was actually walking around and talking this story. I keep on blaming you. There's this great story out there. We'll get into it.
Yeah.
But we have football tonight, Maggie. We have Super Bowl predictions out there. We have pressure. It's all coming together. I cannot wait to overreact to tonight. I feel like there's so much going on. Chiefs three-peat, Lamar Jackson pressure. But you say there's more pressure on the Niners. I don't know.
As a team.
As a team. Got it.
Lamar as an individual feeling pressure. I mean, if we're not going to put pressure on a two-time MVP who has, abysmal playoff record, who would ever get pressure then?
Yeah.
We might as well just give a participation trophy to everybody. And as a team, I think the 49ers have the most pressure.
Don't be a hater. Everyone loves Lamar Jackson.
I'm not hating. I'm just expecting a lot.
Such a cool guy.
Bam's in Central California wants to talk about the 49ers. Good morning, Bam. What's up?
Yeah, I want to totally agree with you, Maggie. Good job. I've been a 49ers fan out here. I live about 90 miles from San Francisco since 1970 when John Brody was quarterbacking. I was Stanford, and that's way before you guys' time.
Yeah, so you've seen some winning. Bam, you've seen some good times.
I've seen the 80s were wonderful.
Yeah.
But there was no salary cap.
Yeah, it was a different time. It was a good time. It was a different time.
Yeah. And it was us versus Dallas, too. But nobody is really thinking Dallas will do it. They just haven't done it. But the 49ers are certainly on the hot seat because of
Yeah, we all watched
Mahomes.
the Super Bowl. And we watched the other one, too. Bam,
they can't win it.
it's a good
And
point that you're making here. Bam, I just want to bring up one point, and I want to agree with you on something. Dallas, you own Dallas right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is even more of a reason to put pressure on the 49ers. Like, your biggest rival historically, you are dominating them. It's not even close.
They have a big rivalry with the Rams going back. Back in the day, that used to be the rivalry. Yeah, I mean, if Dallas, the only path they have to ever getting anywhere in the playoffs is completely avoiding San Francisco and hoping for them to trip up someone.
Apparently.
Yeah, and now Green Bay, but actually anybody now that we talk about it. But yeah, I'm not sure that matters. I do agree that the Niners have a ton of pressure because unlike the Ravens, they have an all-star team. I mean, it's crazy how much talent. We spent all offseason talking about these contracts, bottom line is they have great players. So they have to. By the way, I'm totally into the Bay Area right now because I'm watching the Lacey Peterson documentary on Netflix.
Oh, I watched it.
Yeah. You can't not watch it. My algorithm is like, you have to watch this. You like murder documentaries? I remember when it happened. It was early 2000s.
I do remember. It's like a time capsule for the early 2000s, too. All the fashion and
all my God.
Yeah.
And then that was all over the different areas of the Bay Area. Yeah. Oh, so we could talk about that later.
Yeah, that's a different rabbit hole. Like, I'll go down that one with you, too. We could talk about the Lacey Peterson case with this new Netflix thing. But the Washington Commanders thing, we'll get to a little bit later. Bills in Houston wants to disagree with something I said about Patrick Mahomes. I said if he pulls off a three-peat, he's the GOAT now over Brady. Bill, you disagree?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be a consideration of longevity. And so I look at Tom Brady over 20 years, 7 Super Bowls, sustained excellence. Mahomes might be the most startling, outstanding player I've watched. But I think there's got to be longevity. So, for example, Earl Campbell may have strung together the best 5 years, the most startling 5 years if you watch him of any running back, but he could not sustain it due to injury. And so I look at, is he included in the GOAT conversation with running backs? Well, I don't think for most people he would be included in the GOAT conversation, be somebody that played a lot more years. Another one down here was in another sport. Roger Clemens played 17 years, and then he did his Final Four at Houston, won 44 more games because I really believe he wanted to be the winningest right-handed pitcher of all time and being immortal. So I think there is a longevity, just in my opinion.
Well, Bill, I'm curious, do you also think that LeBron James is the GOAT over Michael Jordan?
I need to hang up now.
Well, I know people get uncomfortable, but if you're going to go longevity, then I think you're going to be a LeBron person. Because, again, this is why I would say Mahomes the GOAT over Brady if he three-peats, because of exactly the Michael Jordan argument. The peak, the dominance, as opposed to the longevity, right? Which LeBron doesn't have enough rings. It's not a perfect comparison. But if you are talking about just great careers in 20 years, then you're probably more of a LeBron person. Whereas Mahomes, maybe you're more of a Michael Jordan person.
He said Earl Campbell. That was like 5 years. Like Michael Jordan had a 17-year run.
We're talking about peak, though, right?
Yeah, his peak was from like 1985 to 1998 or something.
I also think that it's harder to do in football. Now, this could be another conversation. What's the harder championship to win? And I think football is harder to win than basketball.
I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at Michael Jordan's stats. He scored 37 points a game in 1986 and also scored 30 points a game in 1997. It wasn't exactly what I call a flash in the pan there. He had a lot of longevity, too.
He's not, but it's also not a brutal physical sport, right? Like, so you could forgive somebody. Michael Jordan, it was the 90s, and you had the bad boy Pistons, but that wasn't, exactly getting leveled by opposing defensive ends.
I don't know. I just think, like, even the longevity thing for Jordan, the guy won, you're not going to fault him. He won MVPs a decade apart. It was obviously around for quite some time.
No, I get it, but I'm talking
he
about...
He didn't Frank Gore it up like LeBron is right now.
Peak dominance. Okay, we can dissect that until the cows come home when you're welcome to it. 855-212-4227. A three-peat for Mahomes. Does it make him the GOAT? Andrew Bogusch is here.
Yeah.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Your headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your home and auto. Save when you bundle. Get a quote at Progressive.com. There are people in this very building that we sit in that keep alive the possibility of the Jets trading for Davante Adams during the season, reuniting him with Aaron Rodgers. That stems from the general idea that Adams is unhappy in Vegas. That idea pushed by former receiver DeSean Jackson. Adams said yesterday, who?
At the end of the day, the facts are the facts, and that is not a fact. I've probably spoken to DeSean Jackson maybe 3 or 4 times in my life, and I never had a conversation with him ever, and I put that on my kids. I've never spoken to him about anything.
Adams adding that the only person he discussed such feelings with is his wife, and he assumes she's not the leak. He finished with, quote, if it ain't from the horse's mouth, it's probably BS. And then there's JaMarrChase. Still no big money extension in Cincinnati for him, but the wideout was on the field for yesterday's first official practice of game week. That's good news for Joe Burrow.
I saw him out there today. He looks fast, strong, like he always does. I know he's been doing what he needs to do to stay ready if he needs to be ready. So I'm confident that if he does go out there on Sunday, then he'll be the Jamar we all know.
The Bengals open their season by hosting the Patriots Sunday afternoon.
I get very nervous about negative preseason Bengals stories because they seem to completely ignore them once the season starts. Remember, I'm still burned by JaMarrChase can't catch an NFL football because there's no stripe on it like the college. That killed me. Then I'm like, well, Joe Burrow's coming off an ACL. There's no way he wins with the Bengals. Got to the Super Bowl. Like, this team just seems to put everything to the side and perform. I don't care. This is one holdout where I'm like, you know what? JaMarrChase is probably going to come out there at some point and just tear up the AFC.
My question about this first game, right? So you're playing the Patriots. So you get a little nice soft landing here with a team that's probably going to be very bad. But how many snaps does he play?
But who cares? The Bengals could be 1-5, and if Burrow is healthy, because they always do that. They always come out with a slow start, and they just ignore, like, they don't have the normal patterns of teams.
That's true.
I don't know what it is. I'm not worried. I was more worried about Ayuk, to be honest, than JaMarrChase, because don't you just figure out he's so talented, he's just going to walk out there and figure it out?
I think this was just not, I don't know if this is worth it for him, though. I mean, if this does end up costing them in any way, and I don't know, if it to be trying to get a new contract when you got 2 years left on your deal, doing it in a very different way, like, did you cost your team potentially a shot for what was going to be a real long shot of getting your contract extended this offseason anyway?
But it's so early in the season, it probably won't cost them a shot. I mean, the reality is, you're right, they have these two massive games. Look at their schedule. The Patriots, then they go to the Chiefs. It's going to be a huge game, but the reality is it's a week 2 game. They can lose that because they got teams like the Commanders and the Panthers and the Giants coming up. Like, I just think it's a long season, so I can't. You're talking about costing a shot at the title. Does anyone really feel that way about JaMarrChase holding out here? He's so young that he'll be able to jump right in there.
Yeah, he's not getting that contract, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, was it worth it? Do you really think that we were going to redo this whole precedent, and that the Bengals were actually going to give in here? I don't think they ever were. Maybe they will. Maybe there's still a chance.
Will. Everybody else has been giving in,
But not with 2 years left on the deal. Usually going into the last year of their deal.
But this all started, right, because other receivers in his class cashed in, Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. So, yeah, I don't know. What about you, Bogus? You think that this is panic time in Cincinnati?
It's not panic time, but we said this last week with Ayuk or somebody. Like, one of these holdout wide receivers is going to pop a quad in the first month. It just seems like that's gonna, like, there's almost guaranteed to happen when somebody holding out pulls a muscle, getting back, because there's just still a difference between you working by yourself somewhere and being on the field. Also, like, these are the Bengals, and they are historically cheap and stubborn. Like, my bigger concern might be that this is the one that gets the truly ugly of all of these contractual battles, is that they're going to do this again maybe next offseason. And now they did pay Burrow, but maybe he's the exception, not the beginning of them changing how they handle things.
Because we forgot. Remember, we came into this offseason talking about T. Higgins a lot? What happened to that dude?
He's back.
But they never signed him to a long-term deal.
They franchise tagged him.
By the way, JaMarrChase is 24, and you guys, you have to remember, 24, you're a little more pliable. That's why I think he could jump right back in.
He'll probably be okay, but I'd be surprised if one of these guys didn't get hurt by the end of the month. By the end of September.
I just think Trent Williams holding out at 35, and it's JaMarrChase who feels like he should be older, but he's been around a long time. You can't count out the Bengals. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it.
Well, you picked them to win the Super Bowl.
Yes, and I feel great about that. Or miss the playoffs. but if they stay healthy, like they have this quality of resilience where all these things, they fuel themselves off these setbacks. I can't believe I'm saying that about the Cincinnati Bengals.
You'll be shocked to hear there was more history for Caitlin Clark last night. 24 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and the Fever's fifth straight win, 93-86 over the LA Sparks. Clark is the first rookie, the fifth player overall with multiple triple-doubles in one season.
Let me make sure I have this right. She's the first rookie to ever have 2 triple-doubles in a season.
Correct.
That was the record.
Yeah.
1 triple-double. What the heck has the WNBA been doing? It's no rookies ever had 2 triple-doubles?
Only 5 players had more than 1 in a season.
I'm trying to think, though, in the NBA, how many rookies come in and start ripping off triple-doubles?
I don't know. Right. Russell Westbrook had 60 in the season. I don't think it's that hard.
He was a 10-year vet.
It's not going to be one. Whatever the record is, I will bet you. Let's get some. Turn the research team on this.
Maybe Wemby. Did Wemby even have one?
I bet you rookies had. I bet you there's tons of rookies who've had double-digit triple. Had at least 10 or more.
Who?
Triple
Jason
doubles.
Kidd?
Well,
I don't know.
Well, Oscar Robertson had 26
as a rookie.
But I don't know if he counts. He was Mr. Triple Double.
Yeah, that's true.
No, that counts. Even if we downgrade the 26, that's still more than 2.
It's a lot. I get it.
Yeah, but how did Diana Taurasi not have 2 triple doubles as a rookie? It's a hard league for rookies. I'm getting to understand that historically.
There's also, this isn't for this per se because triple doubles is different, but they also played less games. So some of the counting stats is due to them playing more games.
Yeah, 40 games as opposed to 82. It's just fewer bites at the apple.
And fewer minutes per game as well, right?
That's
to compile stats. So like that. But again, even if you do some kind of math on that, 2 becomes 6 over 82 games and 48 minutes? It's still not a lot.
It's surprising the amount of history that's been made this season just by Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese alone.
I know, but because it's not just Caitlin. It's Angel Reese. Every time she steps on the court is breaking a record, too.
They're literally they're tearing up the record book. It's great. They're as advertised.
Oh, God. By the way, guess who's number 2 all-time in rookie triple-doubles?
LeBron.
I didn't mention it.
It makes me sick who's number 2.
Ben Simmons?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it took him 5 years to get to his rookie season.
But he had 12 his rookie season.
The Chicago Cubs, a combined no-hitter of the Pirates, Shota Imanaga and 2 relievers, did it, overcoming 2 walks and 3 errors. Imanaga threw 95 pitches over his 7 innings. 12-0 was the final over Pittsburgh. And the girl that Maggie hopes to be when she grows up, Jessica Pegula, still rolling at the U.S. Open. A straight-set win over top-seeded Iga Swiatek last night to reach a major semifinal for the first time in her career. Guys, back to you.
On every level. On every level, Jessica Pegula just better than me. Better tennis player.
No.
Bigger. She has to be a bigger Bills fan, I think.
She owns the Bills. She's not just a Bills fan. She
a little
owns
more
them.
invested than me, but barely. She
Honestly,
got me by a shade.
I get the tennis thing. You don't want to own the Bills, Maggie.
What?
No, that is not a place. It's hard enough to be a Bills fan. Can you imagine going through that as an owner?
No, I always say this with Perloff. I don't want to be a sports owner.
Are you serious?
No, I'm with Jerry Seinfeld on this. Give me a beer and some popcorn and a good seat. It doesn't get any better than that. I don't need to know the inner workings.
If you took BP on the field before the game because it's your stadium, it definitely gets better.
I would love to own the Bills. Their fans are dumb. They basically come and shovel the stadium for free when they should be getting paid for it.
Well, they get lunch.
They get a pack of Lunchables and a Molson.
Dude, fair. I mean, you're shoveling anyway. You might as well come dig out the stadium. To me, I don't want to have to worry about my sponsorship deal with this person and having to kiss this person's butt and having to try to get a new stadium built. And I don't want any of the ownership headaches.
Well, I would love to be an owner, except I want a team that's actually going to win a championship. So that's my issue. It's not being an owner. It's the Bills part of this scenario.
You know what? We're going to light you on fire and throw you through a table. You're not welcome at my next Bills tailgate.
I mean, if you give me part ownership of the Eagles, I'm going to be out there in section whatever, just
getting
painted green.
Getting pelted with batteries by your own people.
Fact.
Thank you, Bogish. Lots more to do. We've got all this NFL stuff to get to. Let's not forget a massive college game this weekend that's going to be super, super fun and interesting because of the quarterback matchup. We'll get to that. It's Maggie Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Took a shot like in that 8 morning cough. Philly cheesesteaks haunt their dreams like a greasy ghost. Pine Needles wakes up at dawn. Coffee brewing, screen turned on. He's got a favorite show to see, the Maggie and Perloff Symphony. Oh, Pine Needles are turning tight to infinity. Sports radio every night. Maggie and Perloff, your daily delight. In their words, you find your life. From highlights to the breaking news, every take you can't refuse. In the chat, he's on. guilty 5 days off in a row. But his grumpy demeanor didn't let it show. Back on the Maggie and Perloff show, his frown as deep as ever, you know. Peter, oh Peter, why the grumpy face? 5 days of freedom, not a single trace of joy or laughter, just that familiar frown. Back on the air, bringing everyone down. A week of no work, just time to unwind. Still that grumpy mood he couldn't leave behind. 5 days off, but it's all the same. Back with a grumble, no one to blame. Peter, oh Peter, why the grumpy face?
3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Daily.
Do you believe that?
Deion.
You believe that?
This portion of the show is brought to you by Ethos Life, the easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam and just a few health questions. Get your free quote at checkethos.com, not available in all states. Welcome back, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We have so much NFL to get to today, but Perloff, let's pause for a second. Big college game, great quarterback matchup. Colorado and Nebraska. Shedeur Sanders, likely first-round pick in the NFL, goes head-to-head with Dylan Raiola, the 5-star recruit out of high school. Fantastic in his debut at Nebraska. Again, it's against UTEP, but he looked really good. He's wearing 15. He kind of has the Patrick Mahomes haircut. He's a big dude. All different types of arm angles. Here is Dylan Raiola talking up his respect for Shedeur.
Never met him before, but I've watched him the past couple years, and tremendous amount of respect for that guy. What he has to deal with everything that comes with being a Sanders. Just have a lot of respect how he's handled that. And I think he's an elite level quarterback, and he's gonna give us everything that we want. And we just got to prepare. First round quarterback, the whole nines.
Yeah, this is going to be a super fun one. And if Raiola is, as well, I wouldn't say well appointed. He looked very comfortable in his first college game. Dude's playing in high school last year. Now he's in front of, 90,000 people in Nebraska with all eyes on him. And some of the throws were spectacular. This game is in Nebraska, 7.5-point favorite right now over Colorado.
But wasn't Nebraska favored last year? And they totally got outclassed.
They did.
So I feel like Colorado's an incredibly hard team to predict. You just don't, right? You don't know what's going to happen week to week here. They beat North Dakota State, but then North Dakota State, who are they?
Yeah.
So how is it going to translate? This happened last year to us, where they started out 3-0, and they raised the expectations, and then they just got killed in a bunch of games, and then they got a little better. But I think it's just so hard to understand what's happening with this Colorado team. It's one of the most frenetic teams, in my opinion. Shedeur Sanders is awesome, but do we really have a sense of who they are after 1 week?
If we're talking about the quarterback battle, I think we've seen enough of Shedeur to know that he's the truth.
But did that help? He was awesome in the first 3 games last year. Did that help them?
As it pertains to this game, I think him, Travis Hunter, that in the red zone, this is amazing. Do we know all about Colorado? No. To be honest, I just really am interested in this quarterback matchup. I don't want to just distill it down to one specific thing. But you're not as into this? This is great.
That's definitely not a quarterback battle. There's so much going on here with Colorado and Nebraska. This is a coaching battle. Honestly, this is definitely not. That's the thing. I know Shedeur is awesome, but I do not know what the rest of that team is. I do not understand why Nebraska is such a big favorite here.
Well, I think there's a big reason, which is Colorado, even against North Dakota State, could not stop the run.
Right. But is that going to can Nebraska? Since when has Nebraska got it? Yeah. What have they ever gotten their act together offensively to take advantage of that?
Actually, let's hear from Deion. Ryan, this is called the Daily Deion after all. Says he really admires Matt Rhule. This is a little different, by the way, from last year where there was a little bit of bad blood going back and forth between the coaches. Instead, Deion now says he respects Matt Rhule.
I have a ton of respect for Matt Rhule. He's in, I call it our class of coaches. We all, took on a tremendous test that year along with Coach Dillingham and several others. So I feel like we're a fraternity. So I root for that class of head coaches that came in that year.
Yeah, this is different than last year. Not talking up this rival. Well, they're talking up the rivalry, but, there was some idea that Deion, I don't think, appreciated a little of Matt Rhule last year, and now he's completely changed his tune.
Yeah.
Probably smart.
This is unexpected for me. I thought, that was one. Deion seems to get along really well with a lot of coaches. Well, you notice after the game, there's big hugs with Deion. With most guys, I know he has a couple rivalries, but he has a lot of fans of the coaching fraternity as well.
Yeah, he talks up Saban a lot, obviously. But
who is the TCU coach? Sonny Dykes and him are quite close. I hear other coaches. It feels like he's viewed differently there than publicly. All the public bravado, I think he's quite respectful to other coaches. This Matt Rhule thing. Matt Rhule is a well-liked coach. I find that interesting. That Deion is two people almost.
Shocker. He could be one way one moment and another way another moment. Would never expect that from Deion.
I don't know. After the North Dakota State game, that other coach, the new coach at North Dakota State, was really happy to, he's that was a great game, coach. And Deion, watch, there's going to be a love fest. That surprises you that Deion is Mr. Coaching Fraternity guy?
Ask Jay Norvell about that. Colorado State.
There's one. Yeah, that's the thing. He's got these weird rivalries, but then Saban and Sonny Dykes, those guys love Deion.
855-212-4227. So that's a fun college game this weekend. You also got Texas and Michigan this weekend, which is going to be great. Coming up, a warning for one NFL owner. And the story I'm obsessed with right now. We have the details next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh! Oh!
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Perloff won't stop bragging about how he won his Caitlin Clark bet last night. Congratulations to you.
Yeah. And I'm also kind of moving in on an important stat for Caitlin Clark.
What do you got?
I said she'd average 20 points a game in her rookie season, and EJ Stewart, our executive producer, told me I was crazy. No, he didn't say I was crazy. He said it's really hard to score as a rookie in the WNBA. That turns out to be true because she's breaking every record, scoring 18.7 points a game.
EJ was right about that.
But
the rookies have had trouble until this season.
But her stats since the Olympic break are crazy. I mean, if she'd played this way all season, it would be an all-time season. So it's really impressive what she's doing right now.
The fact that the Fever are definitely a playoff team, I mean, that's a major goal that in a box that gets ticked off. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're on a 5-game winning streak. They're playing fast. And this has just been a really fun post-Olympic break. This has been really fun to watch with the Fever.
Absolutely. It's sort of, if she had done this in the beginning of the season, if the team had done this in the beginning of the season, I mean, they would be the number one story in sports. Even with the NFL coming on, it would be just incredible. Feels like Iowa a little bit, right?
It's getting a little bit of that vibe. You're right about that.
I mean, that might
and
be
the playoffs, I think, are going to be huge.
That is maybe too far because Iowa made the title game 2 years in a row. But we're starting to get some of that energy around Caitlin Clark and the Fever.
So this was interesting. Charles Barkley was on Bill Simmons' podcast earlier this week, and the conversation turned to Caitlin Clark and her rookie season. And let's hear Charles. Let's cut one, Ryan, about how Charles believes that the WNBA players just really botched this first season with Caitlin.
These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they try. People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you.
Okay, so he's talking about the players and the media there. More from Barkley saying the WNBA players, they're just jealous of Caitlin Clark.
This girl is incredible. The number of attention, eyeballs, she's brought to college and the pros. And for these women to have this petty jealousness, you say to yourself, damn, what is going on here?
More from Barkley says that he likes that Caitlin doesn't respond to any of her critics.
Thing I love about her, she never says a word. But these ladies who I love and respect their game, they couldn't have this thing up any worse. There's been so much negativity, and a lot of it is just petty jealousness.
Yeah. Okay, so that was Barkley's assessment. Do you agree with him?
No, I don't totally agree with him. I think that anytime anyone shoves Caitlin Clark, it becomes front page news, right? I bet you LeBron came into the NBA and people were shoving him all the time. We just didn't have the social media back then. I think this is closer than what Charles is saying to, maybe I'm totally wrong, normal rookie hazing. And I don't think that everyone's come out in the press. Basically, if you come out and say something just slightly negative about Caitlin, it blows up into this giant story. I think that just the sort of intensity of the spotlight on her makes this all seem bigger than it is. I'm not sure that at the end of the day, I'm not sure that they've really been after her the way Charles is painting it. Maybe I'm totally wrong about this. I don't feel like it's been this hate fest necessarily.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
What are the quotes he's talking about? Who's really, really torn her apart?
Well, I don't think people have torn her apart. I thought that Diana Taurasi's comments got taken a little bit too far. She said it's going to be a tough learning curve. And guess what? It was. Right. Now she's playing great. That was more not like a warning, like, oh my gosh, you better look out. It was more like, this is how it's probably going to go. And now that we're seeing, it is hard for rookies to get their foothold in this league. So I think Diana was just talking from experience there, not because she was trying to disparage Caitlin at all. This is my thing about Barkley. It's such a funny way that he put it. Like, they couldn't have bleeped this up worse if they tried, blah, blah. I feel like this is a little pot calling the kettle black on this thing. You're telling me that the NBA players don't have petty jealousies of any other guys who come into the league and either get a lot of attention, start making a lot of money, and feel a certain type of way. I think that the veterans in the NBA look at the guys who are making $60 million a year, now $70 million, and thinking, I'm not getting enough respect that I helped build this league. And now you're the one who gets to enjoy all the fruits of the labor of me flying commercial and me trying to fight for eyeballs and me having games that were on tape delay back when Magic and Larry first came into the league or stuff like that. And now, like, sort of respect what came before you. Caitlin is very respectful, by the way. It's not about that. I just think, Barkley really can't understand. He doesn't understand why some of the veterans in the WNBA might be a little jealous of all the attention Caitlin's getting. The NBA players are like this. The feud between the old head NBA players and the new school guys bleeds into their TV show every night. So it's not just a women thing, and Charles isn't saying that, but I don't want to be painted like, oh, these women, they're the ones who are being petty and jealous. The men are petty and jealous too.
Yeah, but nobody cares. Like, no, I mean,
I think they do. I think Kevin Durant cares when he gets called out by Charles Barkley and Shaq and all those guys. They don't have great relationships.
But this is you're talking about. It's funny you're talking about tape delay and commercial. Yeah, that's the guys who are retired.
Right.
Like now they have an NBA. They have a salary cap for the young guys. So I don't think that energy is going on. Like basically, that's what I'm saying. Like Jalen Green probably got pushed around as a rookie and nobody cares. There's this thing about Caitlin. It's just I don't agree that that's the same dynamic. Like. I do think the thing with Caitlin is just it's more.
Yeah,
everything is
I know.
more.
It's always more. It's women. There's a racial component to it. There's a lot of stuff.
You have the sexist comments from the male press. You have the racial undertones of everything when we're talking about her. So I think there is more. But that being said, I think it's worked out great for the WNBA. I think it's good to have controversy. It gets more eyeballs. It definitely doesn't hurt the WNBA to have players who are jealous of her. That kind of drama fuels ratings. I mean, it's great.
I guess so Charles Barkley was critical, saying that WNBA players and media couldn't have messed this up worse if they tried with Caitlin Clark's rookie season. I guess here would be the other thing. What's the alternative? Like, I thought she should have been on the Olympic team. Turns out it was the best thing probably for her to have a bit of a break and get to be able to recharge and everything. Like, I thought she should have been on the Olympic team. But besides that, how else were they supposed to act? Okay, you don't want the hard fouls and stuff like that, but again, it is kind of part of the game. Caitlin's not the only player out there who's getting hard fouls, maybe feels a little intentional. Are they supposed to roll out the red carpet for her to average 25 points a game? Are they supposed to take it easy on her? Like, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe, okay, the Cheryl Swoop stuff got a little weird about, kind of trying to undercut some of her achievements, or maybe not like mentioning her name. I guess that got weird. All right, that got weird. That's one person. It got weird, right?
Well, I wonder if Charles is talking to other people too. He probably has other friends who are WNBA legends who are like, this is crap. Well, I mean, that might be what's going on. But one thing about them messing up, I mean, they clearly have not messed this up. Like, it's been.
The ratings are through the roof.
Yeah, I mean, this is working out well, right? I mean, it couldn't really even work out that much better.
EJ, you're a big WNBA fan. Do you agree with Barkley that they couldn't have messed this up worse?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, I think everything that was supposed to happen has happened, and now this has been turned into one of the best sports stories. Forget about WNBA stories. Caitlin came in. There was a lot of controversy, a lot of hoopla. She got beat up a little bit, but guess what? It's basketball. It's competitiveness. Like Charles Barkley played in the 80s. The notion that somehow that was pettiness when they weren't clotheslining guys, he wasn't punching Bill Laimbeer in the 80s. I mean, I don't really understand that. And she took the break. Now she's playing awesome. The ratings are through the roof. I just feel this felt like conjuring up old feelings to me. Like, I felt like we had kind of moved outside of what's happened with Cheryl Swoops. I feel like most of the public kind of moved past any resentment for Caitlin Clark. So I felt like this was kind of like maybe Charles kind of taking somewhat of a victory lap to be like, see, look how great she is. And now if you guys wouldn't have been so mean to her, maybe things would have been better initially. She just needs to go through that initial rough patch. Like that was just going to happen. That's basketball. And Charles should know that better than anybody. So I don't necessarily agree with that. I just hate how, to me, the defense of Caitlin Clark becomes so anti-competitiveness. It's just always this, well, it should have been nicer. Why didn't you say this about her or that? She's a basketball player. And, she's cut from the Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality cloth. Like, I don't think she wants it like that. Like, why do we reduce her to this coddling constantly. I don't get it.
Forget all that. Do you think there's a generation of players, Cheryl Swoops, who is out there behind the scenes talking trash about Caitlin Clark? Do you think that resentment is real?
Listen, I think there's always going to be a little tension between the previous generation and the current one. And I think there's this idea that Caitlin invented the WNBA by some people because she's gotten a lot of casual fans. The thing is that the WNBA was ready for a star like this too, right? No, I mean, you need to put in 20 years, and they have the infrastructure, and they have the, they have a lot of room to grow, which is great.
The ratings have been growing for years, and I know people want to
it's been a
that.
Come on. You're saying the ratings would be the same without Caitlin this year? I don't know.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said, Pearl.
Honestly, I think college basketball is like grown even faster. I don't even think it's the WNBA. I think think college women's basketball has gotten fire lately too, even before Caitlin.
I think that there was like this steady kind of increase, and we can talk about it, whether it's the product getting better, which, by the way, the product's just better too. Like, you're watching women's college basketball, and it's looking a little bit more like the men's side, right? They're playing fast, the 3-pointers, all that stuff. So it's a watchable product because the sport is evolving. And then on top of that, the betting is also a big part. You won your bet last night. I lost my bet last night.
Yep.
A little column A, a little column B. And it's been a little steady. And then Caitlin was a catalyst that definitely put the chart and the graph like up and to the right.
Right. But there's no steadiness about that spike. Like, it wasn't steady. It wasn't steady growth. Like, that's not different.
Before
but
her.
it was going up by 2%, 2%.
Right.
Then it went up 200%.
Exactly.
So you can't say that the steady growth of the WNBA led to this. That doesn't make any sense.
No. I think what I was saying is that it's not like it was cratering and tanking, and the league was on the verge of bankruptcy, and then all of a sudden here comes Caitlin, and now they're a blue chip stock that's through the roof.
I think that's kind of what happened.
No, I don't think they were on the verge of bankruptcy. Like,
I'm just saying,
I don't think it was on the verge of going away. She just increased their value.
I'm just saying it was a medium, and then it became elite. Right? That's just what happened. You can't say, if Caitlin wasn't here this year, if she'd gone back to Iowa, which I think she was allowed to do because of the COVID year, then there'd be no WNBA spike in ratings. Can we agree on that?
Absolutely. Of course. But I guess, like, when you're talking about the tension between the old generation and the new, I think it's like the idea that Caitlin invented, that WNBA didn't exist until she stepped on the court. And I think people resent that. And to be honest, I think the NBA players also resent the fact at times that guys who are mid and who have done nothing are making $70 million a year when they had to fly commercial and they weren't making as much. I just think that's normal.
I do too. And the only thing I would say too is, like, I think just because the growth before Caitlin was slower does not mean that it was not significant. Like, to me, this was not Magic Johnson and Larry Bird saving the NBA from being on tape delay. Like, this was not that. Like, there was...
It's Michael Jordan. It's Michael Jordan making the ratings go through the roof.
Sure,
that's fine.
Nobody's calling her Magic and Larry. Everyone's... I mean, that comparison doesn't make any sense.
Well, her and Angel got that comparison a lot.
But it's not. I think the drugs and the TV and all that stuff that was going on in the 70s, like, that is not. Everyone's like, wow, the WNBA was. I don't think that's what people are saying. I think they're saying that she is. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think she said that she's taking this league to a whole new level. Like, Jordan was a huge deal for the NBA ratings, and I feel like Tiger was a big deal for the golf ratings. To me, that's the best analogy. Like, she's Tiger. No,
that's more fair. No, I think that's more fair. I just think there's a notion, though, that the WNBA was a struggling league and that there was zero interest. And we had just seen for years that was not the case in the recent years, that since the wobble, that there had been an increase in interest. And I think there's an increase overall in women's sports. Absolutely. Caitlin is a rock star, and she's coming and taking it through the roof. But I do think that when we talk about if there's resentment, is there's a thing, when we say, well, she came in and just saved the league, or the league was irrelevant until she showed up, people who live and die with the league, they're going to feel a way about that. And that's understandable. I just think Charles Barkley resorting that to saying, well, this is pettiness and that you should get over it, or that her just having to go through a tough rookie rough patch, that it was something beyond that, I think is unfair. I think it's unfair to the situation. I think it's unfair to reality.
Well, and
it's reality that there's going to be resentment when you say this savior is coming out of nowhere and your league was irrelevant before that.
I just also, like, did the pettiness, is it hurting the NBA?
No.
It doesn't feel like it is. There was pettiness of keeping Isaiah off the Olympic team. There was pettiness of, freezing out Michael Jordan in an all-star game. There was those pettiness that now becomes part of the lore of the NBA. And I don't see it as a negative. Charles did. Charles said that you couldn't have bleeped this up worse if you tried. It was a funny way he put it. He's like, we could have put a bunch of men in a room. How do you hurt the WNBA? And we would have never come up with something like this. I mean, he really feels strongly that this has been like a disaster of how they've treated Caitlin Clark. I just don't see it this way. Yeah, Pat.
I totally disagree. I mean, think about how much more we're talking about Caitlin Clark and the WNBA this year because of the Kennedy Carter stuff early on and because of all the, the Diana Taurasi comments, and anytime she gets shoved, it's only bringing more attention to the sport. Sure, it might be wrapped in pettiness and drama, but let's be honest. We love it. That's why reality TV exists. So it makes it more interesting. So I think Chuck is totally wrong. It kind of sounds like a moron with these comments.
Yeah, 855-212-4227. Listen, maybe we're not leaving enough room for the other side of this. Would this have been better if, she comes in and she gets one collective hug from everybody and they say thank you? See, I think people like rivalries. I think they like it when it feels like it gets a little angsty, a little tension.
It would have been boring, and I don't think there would have been basically, and I know they had the month break for the Olympics and everything, but there wouldn't have been a season-long interest. It would have been, all right, Caitlin Clark, yeah, she is doing well at the WNBA. All right, cool. We'll watch in October when the playoffs are here.
Right. 855-212-4227. So that's a little what's going on the WNBA side of things. Charles Barkley, critical of all the women in the league and broadcasters who are critical of her. Okay. Football. Thank you, Pat. Tell everybody what you just said in my ear.
Commander story.
Yep. I forgot for 5 seconds about my new obsession. And by the way, anyone who's ever gone on an online date, like met somebody online and then met them for a drink, you should be interested in this story too. A lot of layers. We'll get to that next. Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Was a nerd, Ernest was the football star, always being heard. But forget about the past, let's get to Pete, the guy who skips work like it's a track meet. Ernest Pendleton, thought you were the king, but Perloff's the one who's doing his thing. Speaking of kings, let's talk about Pete, who never shows up, his presence is beat. Lottie's got a gift, it's called disappearing. When it's time for work, he's nowhere near it. Out sick, on leave, or on a special trip, but showing up on time, he just lets it slip. Ernest Pendleton, thought you were the king, but Perloff's the one who's doing his thing. And speaking of kings, let's talk about Pete, who never shows up, his presence is beat. Lottie's got a gift, it's called disappearing. When it's time for work, he's nowhere near it. Out sick, on leave, or on a special trip, but showing up on time, he just lets it slip. Ernest Pendleton, thought you were the king, but Perloff's the one who's doing his thing. And speaking of kings, let's talk about Pete, who never shows up, his presence is beat. Oh! Phrase. Clocking in, he might just pass while Perloff's here working, kicking some class. He's the master of the great vanishing act. One day he's here, then he's gone, that's a fact. While Perloff's on the grind, putting in the time, He's MIA like it's some kind of crime. Ernest Pendleton, thought you were the king, but Perloff's the one who's doing his thing. And speaking of kings, let's talk about Pete, who never shows up, his presence is beat. So Ernest, you're just a footnote in Perloff's tale. Lottie, he's the king of the no-show trail. Perloff's still shining day after day.
custom tune.
1 minute, 30 seconds remaining.
It's boiled or fried, just eat it! Just eat it! Just eat it!
One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
What are you going to do with it?
Yep, he just referred to Caitlin Clark as that and it.
All the way around.
Maggie Gray is co-host of Maggie and Perloff on Infinity Sports Network.
I think Caitlin gave him a lot of grace.
This portion
She
of the
didn't
show is
fire
sponsored by
back.
Hyundai's
She
Bold
didn't try to
family
make a
of
big deal
EVs that
about
bring
it.
a new kind of energy to your journey. The Ioniq 5 and 5N, Ioniq 6, and Kona Electric, the most electric EV lineup. All right. Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Are you laughing at my pronunciation there? What's going on, Bogus?
Yes.
Why? I got it. Ioniq. It's on the sheet.
Ionic.
Ah, darn it. Remember I used to, I always got, actually, I don't know if it was this show, biopic. I always said it was a biopic and not a biopic, and people would kill me for that. But then there's a school of people who call it a biopic.
A biopic sounds like something you're getting scanned at the doctor.
Right.
A biopic sounds like, hey, let's look at a story about Bob Marley's life.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. It does sound like something at that time.
Wait a minute.
I had to get a biopic done.
It's
like,
not.
wow.
It's not biopic.
No,
Yeah,
it's a
lot of-
biopic.
There's 40% of the people who call it biopic.
Not 40.
I'm not kidding.
It's you, Bill Ryder, and Pat Boyle.
No, I talked about this topic for a decade. It's really like number 3 on the list of Perloff things.
Oh,
biopic.
this is your dinner parties?
Yeah, like
conversation. I got a new topic for you for a dinner party, but can we put that out as a poll? Do you pronounce it biopic or biopic? You don't think a biopic sounds like a scan you'd get in your prostate?
It sounds like the thing you need glasses for. Oh, I'm biopic. You're my
Why
glasses.
is it?
I
Why
can
is
see
it,
far, not in the air.
Why is it myopic?
Because
And
those
not
are different
biopic.
words. Biopic is like biographical picture.
Ooh, I'm bogus. I've mastered the English language. Sick,
Yeah.
dude.
Proudly this morning. Yeah.
Bogus, can I say one thing? A biopic is a little clunky to say. Like, oh, there's a new biopic out. It's funner to say there's a new biopic out.
I agree.
Save a syllable.
That's a Dartmouth
Regularly-
education. I trust that.
Be careful.
Wait, we got it. All right,
That's a
so
Zerloff
we've been teasing this so much. You gotta
Zerloff
share.
versus Perloff.
I honestly, you should think about changing to Zerloff. It does sound like Zoloft, and that makes people happy, like clinically.
Wait,
So-
what?
The caller called you Zerloff.
Oh, is that what he said?
I agree
could
with
not.
you
You said to me
100%,
Zerloff afterwards. I couldn't hear what he was saying.
Yeah, I said, I agree with you, Zerloff, and then said it a couple different times. And I kind of feel like we should workshop that because you're right. It's close to Zoloft, and Zoloft is an antidepressant. People would like associate with you with smiles.
Botcher play here. Botcher, play it again.
I agree with you 100%, Zerloff.
Zerloff. You and Greg Zerline should be buddies.
Love it.
Pearl the leg.
Zerloff. It does sound like something where the side effects are a laundry list of things. They give you everything from migraines to violent diarrhea.
And things it's supposed to cure
Yeah.
are still somehow a side effect. No, that means it's not working.
Yeah, it's an antidepressant that also gives you suicidal thoughts. It's like, that seems diametrically opposite. Anyway,
There's, by the way, about 50 Reddit threads on biopic versus biopic. This is like basically half the internet is dedicated to this topic.
is this the blue dress?
Oh my God. there are people who get so mad when you rhyme myopic and biopic.
Well, you're not going to have to use this for your dinner party anymore conversation because I got a new topic for you. And this is a story that I become obsessed with. Everyone around here knows it because I won't shut up about it. And it's the Washington Commanders, this vice president of content. So basically, guys doing a lot of their social media. And he went on an internet date with a woman. They met on Hinge. Turns out that the woman was recording the entire date. And she's asking him very pointed questions about his job working for the NFL. And Perloff, was giving rather candid answers. So some of the things that she asked were, how do NFL players feel about, LGBTQ and the gay community? And he said that a lot of the players are homophobic, whether that's because some are very religious or for other reasons, kind of growing up in maybe a macho kind of culture. He said that. She asked about fans of the NFL. He said that most are high school educated alcoholics. She asked if they're low class. He said, I don't never like to use that term. Instead, I'll call them mouth breathers. And then he kind of laughs and he's trying to be cute about that. He said the league's social justice initiatives that happened after George Floyd are all just window dressing. And he said that Roger Goodell is a figurehead.
That's crazy. You're telling me that when they wear pink socks, they're not really obsessed with women's causes?
Yeah, writing end racism in the end zone is going to be part of the solution here.
Yeah, they didn't even need to include that part in the story. By the way, the mouth breather is interesting. The social justice thing, even Goodell would admit that's crap.
Well, I mean, listen, you want to try to be. This is the part of the story that I'm obsessed with. The guy got in trouble, so he's suspended now because he said these things in what he believed was a private conversation that he was having on a date. Now, listen, he didn't say, whatever you think about what he said, and whether you think that there was like a tinge of racism to it or what have you. I'm not trying to dismiss how people think about this. I'm just asking, do we want to live in a society where you get videotaped on a date unbeknownst to you? You're in a social situation. He's not on a panel talking about NFL issues here as a member of the Washington Commanders. He's having what he thinks is a private conversation. This woman oopsie-doops him and puts it out there in the public. Should he get in trouble for this? To me, I find it very, alarming and I find it very odd and weird that he would now be in trouble. Like, if he tries to get another job in public relations or something, I bet he's going to have a hard time because a private conversation got aired here. Is that not discerning or disconcerting to anyone else?
What does the NFL care about the process? I mean, it's out there. They are generally famous for doing this. Like, they don't need to protect this guy. He's a slight risk to the bottom line to suspend him. So the NFL kind of acts like this. They don't care about fairness. And I kind of understand if you're a corporation that fairness really is not a consideration. I understand it's unfair how it happened to him, but I think if you're the team or the league, you can't factor that in at all.
I guess, listen, he didn't get fired, so it's not like he's losing yet, right? Do they quietly get rid of him? And then he might have a lawsuit on his head. Oh, by the way, he also said that as the state-run media, as he says, with running the Washington Commanders' social media and stuff, that actually was raw sewage that was raining down on the fans, on the paying customers. And he had to say that, no, it wasn't sewage. Now, that feels like an easy one to disprove. Does it smell like poop or does it not? This is not like brain surgery here. And I don't know. How do we feel about this in a society where a guy can get in trouble and he's having a private conversation where he didn't, again, he didn't use a derogatory term. It's not like he got caught Donald Sterling style, saying something horrific about the people that he was working with.
Yeah, but this happens all the time in politics. Forget sports. Who cares about that? In politics, is happening in real time where people are sharing each other's texts and their voicemails. And honestly, it's happened to Donald Trump where he thought he did not know that it was gonna come out publicly. So I just think that's a world we live in.
But if you're a politician, are you under a different standard than the VP of communications at the Commanders? Like, this guy's not a public figure. He's not asking anyone to vote for him.
Yeah,
he's not using taxpayer dollars to support his lifestyle. Like, he doesn't owe anything to the public like a politician owes something to the public. we support
That-
politicians.
that's-
We literally pay their salary.
That is true. But in this day and age, I mean, listen, sometimes my friends and I, for example, used to text crazy stuff to each other. I think we all have that,
Yeah, of
right? Now we do not text anything out to each other because
To your
we're like,
friends?
yeah,
You're that
like,
worried?
oh yeah, because I've seen so many people who've gotten their text messages out there. I mean, why do you think Tom Brady destroyed his phone? Basically, yeah, we do not text. I do not write things that I would not say publicly anymore. Do you guys do? Like
To your friends, like
yeah, to my
personally?
friend. Oh yeah,
Wait, because you're
100%.
worried a friend's going to leak it, or you're worried there's going to be like a data leak, and all of a sudden here's Perloff saying something out of context.
Friend could like share accidentally with somebody, like take a screenshot. Yeah, I mean anything you put into your phone now is. I tell my kids this all the time. Yeah, of course, because of the social media age, everyone knows anything on your phone is basically public.
See, I don't see that about text messages. I see it about like tweets and things you put on social media is obviously.
But I protect my texts really carefully now. There's been a few controversies over the last few years where private texts have gotten out. It happens in sports all the time.
Oh,
Listen,
photos and
yeah,
things like
first
that.
of all, Kevin Durant's had like 3 of these. Like honestly, like I think you have to be super careful about your texts now.
It's also crazy to me that there are the number of states, including the one that we're in now, where the law is only one person needs to know that the conversation is being recorded, and it can be the person who's recording it.
Yes.
I don't understand how that protects anyone. Why? Like, just say there are no rules to recording these conversations, and like, what does that actually accomplish? Because if I'm the victim here, how does it help me or protect me that you're hitting record on your phone right now?
Right. Well, there's another part too, which is they're in public, so there's no reasonable expectation of privacy. Even though you're having a private conversation, it's not like they're sitting in someone's living room and having this conversation. You are out.
Right.
But
you know what his problem was? Rael Entine, the guy who Commander's VP of content.
bad taste in women.
Well, no. The antenna should have been going off. If a woman keeps asking you multiple questions, that's usually a sign that something is off. Women want to talk. They don't want to listen. So if she's battering you with multiple questions, at some point you should have been like, wait a minute. What's going on here? You should be doing all the talking.
You want to know what's funny, Pat? You're 100% right, by the way, but maybe he was just so happy that someone was asking about his job for once. Like, maybe he was just kind of dying for a little companionship.
Well, yeah. But I think if you do what you do for a football team, then you do get a lot of questions. Like if you work for the Commanders and you were there with Dan Snyder, like I think there's a genuine curiosity. I'll bet you that's why. Don't you think like somebody was fishing for Snyder stuff or Commander stuff?
Maybe. Also, but like, the VP of content, like if she's asking him questions like, hey, what does it look like making a TikTok for the Commanders' social channels? Not one of the questions, hey, how do the fielders play about LGBTQ issues?
Yeah, it's a little pointed. It doesn't feel like date conversation.
Did she say that?
Well, that's the question that I don't think he offered it. I think she asked him. Like, she was asking him things about the players and about the team.
And how did this get set up? How does he get a match on Hinge? And how does this sting operation come to fruition? Like, hey, let's go on Hinge until we find somebody that works for the Commanders, and let's go on a date, and let's pepper them with these questions until we get dirt.
And see what we get. So we're talking about a Commanders vice president who went on an internet date, a Hinge date, didn't really know the woman. She's asking very pointed questions about the team. He gave her what seemed like honest answers from his side of it. And now that's being used against him, and he's in trouble. I have a theory about this, but go ahead.
Well, let me ask you, what's the difference between getting sort of not illegally taped, but recorded at a date, and then like John Gruden's emails, which he thought were private? I mean,
yeah, same. And I think if John Gruden was not going up against the NFL, which has a very strong lobby in Washington and just has a lot of influence, I bet John Gruden's winning this case. He actually was winning his case for up until very, very recently. Because I think, it's his private emails.
Right, that's true. But I think publicly he lost, like the public battle over this. Like nobody's
not gonna
like
get hired again.
No one said like, oh man, those were private emails. Like
because what he said was reprehensible.
Right, but yes, so that's my point. It's like it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter how they got the quotes. At the end of the day, in the court of public opinion, this guy said these things, and that's all the NFL has to think about.
Right, the damage is done. I mean, John Gruden's damage was way worse, in my opinion, than this. I mean, John Gruden was being overtly homophobic and racist. I don't think this guy was being racist. I don't think he was being homophobic. He was explaining that he thinks others are homophobic, never used a slur, nothing like that. I guess, so my theory on how this happened, right? I think that D.C. is kind of a scummy town, first and foremost.
I think that.
You lived there for a while too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was there in college. I think people are snipers. I think it's opportunistic. I think it's I just think it's a different vibe there because of the politics. And I think that this woman was probably recording all of her dates. And she happened to land on this guy, got something that was newsworthy, and probably sold it to this media outlet. I don't think she was like, let me look for VPs who work in the NFL.
I think she works for the media outlet.
Yeah.
Or maybe by virtue of her selling something to them, now she technically works for them.
That makes me, this might come off the wrong way. That makes me want to trust women less.
I know.
I'm supposed to go on dates now, and now I got to worry about being recorded for things that I said that technically aren't even wrong, that aren't even reprehensible. He might be they're calling fans a bunch of mouth breathers and high school educated alcoholics. I could see where people are getting mad about that.
Of course.
But spot the lie where he says Roger Goodell's a $50 million puppet.
Well, again, so I think that it's not that you just can't trust women. I feel like also women probably can't trust men now. And you could be, it's not just the women who are doing the recording. Men could be doing it too.
I think also I genuinely would not trust any woman who accepted a date from Pat Boyle. That's my general rule. Sorry, I don't take that personally. I'm just saying I've heard some of your dating stories, and immediately I would be on edge.
How am I not supposed to take that personally?
You should.
Well, I'm just like, listen, if,
What are you talking? What dating stories have you heard?
You said on the radio yesterday you can't have an STD if you don't get tested.
Yeah.
Facts.
That was a joke.
Was it?
Most jokes have a lot of truth to it. And you're right.
By the way, there's another thing about Pat Boyle's dating life. Well, this is not dating.
This is not dating.
This is something that's actually, you've got a serious decision to make, dude. And I don't know, I hope you are taking it very seriously.
Big nut guy. What's that about? What are you talking about?
You have an opportunity in front of you. I guess a lot of guys do, but you have a real opportunity in front of you to become a sperm donor.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you've got to take this decision.
Did you get screened and you're good to go?
I have not gotten screened yet.
Okay, you have to abstain from alcohol and drugs and all that stuff. I don't know if you're a drug and alcohol guy, but you have to abstain from all that stuff for a certain amount of time.
Just a couple days leading up to...
No, he definitely did not know that, Maggie. When you said the look on his face was not a look of knowledge.
A couple of days leading up to the donations or for a several month period?
I think a couple weeks.
And I think you can't have any other activities
Partners.
too, right? You gotta really cleanse and build up and stuff.
No, because I think they screen you for STDs probably before each donation, no?
Definitely.
Because you can, like you said,
Yeah.
have sex and maybe catch something in a week period. Hey, I just donated. Now I'm going to donate another 2 weeks. I don't think they say, oh, we trust you.
No, they definitely don't trust you.
You probably get screened each time.
I would assume. Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is for Pat to become a sperm donor, this is serious business, man. I feel like you're kind of willy-nilly. You got to really think about, do you want to do this? Because there's some places where the offspring will get to contact you one time. I've heard this before. I've had a friend who went down the road on this a little bit. So one time someone could contact you, and you got to be ready to have that conversation. This is intense, man.
I ignore calls from friends on a daily basis. You think I got a problem with having to talk to a kid that's technically mine but isn't mine 15 years from now? When I'm in my 40s? Who's this? Hey, you're my dad. Oh, that's unfortunate. Click.
You would owe it to this young person to have a conversation with them. You
okay,
realize
and what? What do you want me to, what am I supposed to tell them?
Your family history, who you are, what you're about.
No, there's a lot of legal jargon. I assume there is no, obligations on me to be a parent.
No, not a parent, just to be contacted.
By the way, you assume that Pat doesn't have little Pat Boyles running out there. That's your first mistake.
I did say on these airwaves, I would like a Genghis Khan thing.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I would like Pat Boyle Jr.'s running around just without the responsibility. This is kind of a win-win deal. And like Heath Ledger said as the Joker, if you're good at something, never do it for free. I need to start getting paid for these donations.
Are you sure you're good at it?
Well, he's probably, let's not get into logistics of how this works, but probably.
Do you need a certain skill set for this? I don't think so.
But let me give you the whole story that he just alluded to, because this is morning show lore. The Boyle plan is to flood the market, so to speak, so that there's all of these kids out there more kids, higher odds of one of them being athletically gifted, an actor, something that can turn around and fund the back half of Boyle's life.
Yeah, because I'm sure when the person you've been totally absent for the first, formative years, they're going to be
Shunning their
rushing to
calls.
buy you Ferraris and mansions.
Or when you hang up on them.
Yeah.
They call you.
All right, so maybe I will readjust now. Maybe this is a very full bulletproof plan now. The donations, they call when they're 15. First question, hey, what kind of sports you playing?
Yeah, what's your ranking on 24/7?
Right, so they want to know about me. I'm going to flip it back on them. No. Kyle, how good are you? What's your are you QB1 in high school right now? What are things looking like for you? Are you the backup for JV? It's all right. It was a good call. Sorry, I got to go.
I don't know how rigorous this company screens, but they should know the fact that you take penicillin preemptively.
I'm actually allergic to penicillin. That's like the only
That's
thing
not helping society.
in the world that I'm allergic to.
And you know this. Let's pause on this for a second. Bogusch, can we push the update because we need to get to these headlines? I blame myself. I got obsessed with this Washington Commanders story. This guy went on a date with a woman, got recorded talking about some delicate things with the organization, and is now in trouble for it. He had no idea he was getting recorded. This dude's just a patsy on a date, drinking a whiskey sour, trying to get lucky, and now all of a sudden he's in part of this massive
trying to vent for a minute.
Just a minute. Someone asked about his job. Finally, someone asked about how his day went, and now he's in trouble for it. But again, it's my fault. Now we're talking about Pat and his potential sperm donation. But I do want to get to the headlines. Will you hang with us for a second, Boog?
No.
You don't have a choice.
I know.
Hang with us, and maybe we'll give in to you as to why Lindor should be considered as the NL MVP.
No, we're not doing
Don't put that on me.
855-212-4227. Maggie and Perloff, don't move.
Pat's out on the town trying to find the one, swiping right and left, but he's just having fun. Dinner dates and why he's keeping it light, but there's a bigger question keeping him up at night. Is it time to give or time to wait? Does he help someone out or stick to his fate? He's living the life, but what does it mean when you're asked to be part of someone's baby dream? Pat Boyle's in a bind, what should he do? Should he be a donor or let love find him too? Coming from all his matches, but the sperm bank's off for man it catches. Could his DNA bring joy to a stranger's home? While Pat's still out there looking for his own. Is it time to give or time to wait? Does he help someone out or stick to his fate? He's living the life, but what does it mean when you're asked to be part of someone's baby dream? Pat Boyle's in a bind, what should he do? Should he be a donor or let love find him too? Late night thoughts racing through his head, cooking, making babies while he's still alone in bed. The date seems wild, it's a crazy ride, but maybe this choice could give him some pride. So Pat's weighing options, it's a heavy lift. Could being a donor be the ultimate gift. Love may come and go, but here's the deal. Pat's decision might be more than just what he feels. Is it time to give or time to wait? Does he help someone out or stick to his fate? He's living the life, but what does it mean when you're asked to be part of someone's baby dream? Pat Boyle's in a bind, what should he do? Should he be a donor or let love find him too? thoughts racing.
Somebody takes my seed and then just like to raise the kid, and I'm like, that's my kid. Don't raise it, but claim it as your own.
Did you just say your goal is to be a delinquent dad?
It's more so just to pass down the bloodline.
So you actually like, does this involve actual relations with said woman, or are you going to make a donation to a bank and just let somebody take it?
I kind of want like a Genghis Khan thing. Like I just pass down my seed and then have them grow under my name.
But have no actual day-to-day interaction with them.
I mean, yes and no.
Like, you want to text them occasionally or see them like every other weekend? Like, how does this work?
Yeah, I don't know. And not even, okay, so not even in terms of, because when you do raise a kid, you obviously want to experience all that.
Yeah.
And like eventually I guess, want to do that. But I also on the side, like wouldn't mind like the whole sperm bank thing. Like I wouldn't mind dropping off.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind dropping off, a bunch of them and just like, okay, you can use that to, when people use that for fertilization.
But you want to know, though, that it's been used. And,
I want to know it's mine.
And those kids are Boyles.
Yes.
Even if their last name is not Boyles.
Yep.
You know that
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. We're talking about this Washington Commanders vice president who got surreptitiously videotaped on a date. Didn't realize he was on a date. Didn't know he was getting videotaped. Said some very honest things about his team in the NFL, and now he's in trouble for it. And Perloff and Bogusch and I were talking about the amount of open microphones that we happen to be around in this business, and how many Leslie Nielsen moments you've had in your career, Pearl.
Well, no, I've heard Leslie. I've been in trucks a lot where you hear guys going to the bathroom. I probably had Leslie Nielsen moments. I didn't have the honor of hearing myself go to the bathroom, which would have been cool, actually, for some reason. But, I used to work on weekends at Stanford at NBC. And I love when you get the live feeds and you hear the announcers during the breaks explaining what's really happening in the game. That is one of my favorite things in this industry. I don't know, what do you call that period?
Hot mic.
I guess it's a hot mic. Yeah, but a hot mic during the breaks,
Back
they know
feeds.
they're on.
The back feeds.
The back feeds.
The back feeds, yeah, those are awesome. It's like you hear the producer talking to Ian Eagle, and Ian's like, "Yeah, I don't know if we should do this package now. Let's save it for the next break." I love that. I think they should. It's like NASCAR. Put it all out there. NASCAR, by the way, is amazing at that because I heard a 20-minute conversation about diarrhea that was the other day. I don't know if you guys heard that over the weekend.
during the race, the guy was having problems, right?
Maybe the rest, yes. He's like, yep, it's coming out both ends.
Yeah.
I was like, what? This is amazing. So I do think there is some value, entertainment value, to have everything mic'd up.
Imagine.
Who was it? Was it Kyle Larson? Somebody.
No.
It was a big racer.
Reddick, I think his last name might have been.
Yeah, that was wild. He's like, I'm going to try some crackers. Like, been there. Did you do that in the break? I don't know why I know this story, but it got a lot of attention. So I think basically the lesson is we're always being recorded. There's just a fact.
But on a date, you think you can't tell somebody anything? No?
No, I'm with you. I wish, I understand the Commanders can't keep him around. Like, you hate football. Why do you work for a football team?
Just
like,
complaining about work.
But like, there should be a little more sympathy for him thinking that he's talking up a girl, and the whole time she's sitting there hoping to screw him over. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. Does anyone else think that if you ever do any of those like rental things, I don't want to say the names of the companies, but you rent a house, you rent a condo, that you're just getting recorded the whole time. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow. Yeah, but you guys also think that your phone is listening to you.
It is.
But no, what you don't understand is you're so easy to track by what you do on that phone that they can predict. They don't even need to listen to you. Just by their Google searches, they know everything about you.
But what if I didn't do a Google search? What if the first thing was me mentioning it?
There's just enough data out there that
Like, I'm going to get a
It's too late.
Pepto-Bismol ad in a second because you just mentioned diarrhea.
And they know you. Let's get to the headlines.
Please. They're sponsored by Prize Picks. Football season's here, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Download Prize Picks and use code M&P to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
But no better feeling than being on a run in Prize Picks right now. This is so awesome. I cannot wait to make my pick for tonight.
I'm jealous.
It's all happening. I'll tell you one thing, betting against Caitlin Clark, never going to happen again. She's a Joe Burrow of the WNBA. She's making me money here. So let's go Prize Picks.
Justin Herbert is not on the Chargers injury report to start week 1. He says the foot that cost him 2+ weeks of training camp is now 100%. Not only did the Florida Gators take that beating from Miami Saturday, but QB Graham Mertz is in concussion protocol, so freshman DJ Lagway will start Saturday against Samford.
Thank God for Florida. Oh, my God. Grant Mertz. Oh, this is good. DJ Lagway. He's the truth. This is amazing news for a program that's awful. Anyway, sorry.
Fernando Tatis Jr. officially back for the Padres.
1-0 to Fernando. The pitch from Foley, swung on, hit through the left side, and a base hit. Merrill rounding third on his way. Greens throws, got no shot, and Fernando is back.
Yeah, that's what I said, Jesse Agler, Padres Radio. San Diego winning 6-5-10 after spotting the Tigers the first 5 runs of the night. This was Tatis' second game back after missing 2.5 months with a stress reaction in his right thigh. The win and the Dodgers' 10-1 loss in Anaheim gets the Pods 4.5 games back in the NL West. They keep a half-game lead on the Diamondbacks for the top wildcard spot. Arizona winning in San Francisco 6-4. After losing, the Giants announced a 6-year, $151 million extension with third baseman Matt Chapman. It wipes out the final 2 years of his current deal and includes a full no-trade clause. And it continues to be one of the best U.S. Opens for American tennis in decades. Jessica Pegula took down top-seeded Iga Swiatek last night, 6-2, 6-4. Pegula reaching her first major semifinal on her 7th try.
I would like to say I'm so happy that you guys cannot ask me about making it to the semis. That was like, oh my gosh. It wasn't even a me thing. It was just more like people asking me. So I'm really happy to be through to the semifinals.
Pegula joins Emma Navarro, Frances Tiafoe, and Taylor Fritz in their respective Final Fours. This is the first U.S. Open since 2003, with 4 or more Americans reaching the semis. The women play again tonight. Navarro taking on second-seeded Arina Sabalenka. Then it's Pegula and Carolina Muhova.
Pegula winning today. Lock. Book it.
Lock.
Don't jinx her, Pat. This is
I'm
important
not.
stuff.
I was watching Muhova's match yesterday. She's got something going on with her hip or her leg.
Yeah, she's definitely banged up. I love our chat, by the way, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet, twitch.tv/Infinity Sports Network. We affectionately refer to them as the Weedos and the coffee drinkers because they're crazy. Pine Needle says he uses Airbnbs all the time. Best investment ever, a hidden camera laser detector. If you don't have one, you need one. Never heard of this before. Just did a quick Google search. Yeah, you can bring this to all your dates, Pat. A hidden camera.
He has the cameras.
Yeah.
Relax.
And the library and the videos.
We're borderline slandering me here.
I feel like Pat's place has some kind of like secret door. Anyway, a hidden camera
you pull
lens
a book
detector.
and the whole shelf turns.
Candle sconce. Now probably just a bed without a bed frame. A hidden camera.
I have a bed frame.
A water bed, don't you?
Good for you, single guy with a bed frame. I'm proud of you, Pat.
Yeah, so you learned something new about me.
There you go. Coming up, what is at stake tonight for the Kansas City Chiefs? We have some oddly specific predictions for the NFL season. Coming up at the 9 o'clock Eastern hour, Angela, the tarot card reader, answers your NFL questions.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Bilotti, it's time to say so long. Oh, Pete Bilotti, it's Oh, people, it's time to say goodbye. Oh, people, it's time to say so long. You grumbled and groaned, but we stayed strong. With your love for old shows and your curmudgeon charm, now you're off to Amy, and we're raising the alarm. Good riddance, people, be better off today. No more Three's Company, we're alphing our way off to Amy Lawrence, where you can grumble all night. The show will be smoother, everything will feel just right. You offered to run the White Sox, what a plan. We're running our show, you were our grumpy old man. With the NBA on NBC playing in your head, we'll carry on now without all that dread. Good riddance, people, be better off today. No more Three's Company, we're alphing our way off to Amy Lawrence, where you can grumble all night. The show will be smoother, everything will feel just right. Man the boy, but always with a scowl. Now the airwaves will be free of your brow. So here's to a new day without your TV fuss. People out, you're gone, but it's good for us. Good riddance, people, be better off today. No more Three's Company, or alphing our way off to Amy Lawrence, where you can grumble all night. The show will be smoother, everything will feel just right. So long, people riding, we're glad to see you go. The vibe will be lighter, the laughter will flow. No more complaints, just a fresh new start. Goodbye, Pete, we're happy to part. Good riddance, people, be better off today. No more Three's Company, we're alphing our way off to Amy Lawrence, where you can grumble all night. The show will be smoother, everything will feel just right. All people out, we're glad to see you go. The vibe will be lighter, the laughter will flow. No more complaints, just a fresh new start. Goodbye, Pete, we're happy to part. People out, are gone, but it's good for us.
Lost, so how Tua girl can beat it.
I didn't know Grimace was still alive.
Yesterday they were winning 5-0 and 6-4 and they lost, so how Tua girl can beat it.
I didn't know Grimace was still alive.
Yesterday they were winning 5-0 and 6-4 and they lost, so how Tua girl
begin their
can
effort to
beat
become
it.
the first. I didn't know Grimace was still alive.
Yesterday they were winning.
Giant feet, they're the talk of the town. When she walks the sidewalk cracks, she's bringing buildings down. She tried to buy some shoes, but they said no way. Now she's wearing boat sails just to get through the day. Maggie's giant feet, they're a real big deal. Stepping on poles, creating legs for real. Maggie's giant feet, they make a mighty thud. But Maggie just laughs, hey, it's all in good fun. She went to a dance.
15 seconds.
It's tucked away, hidden cameras in his place, recording all day. When his date walks in, they don't know the deal. They're part of his own reality reel. Oh, Pop's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Didn't rewind a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. She thinks it's just a nice little night,
on the Infinity Sports Network.
You did it. You made it. We had college football as the appetizer, and then we get the whole entree tonight. The NFL season kicks off. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Of course, we're excited about Chiefs and Ravens tonight. Chiefs a 3-point favorite as they start the quest for a three-peat, Perloff. And, you know, as far as like what's at stake for Lamar Jackson and getting so close last year to the AFC Championship game, being the dominant team. Remember when the Ravens last year went to San Francisco and just put a beat down on the 49ers? It was like, this is the team. You know, this is the year for the Ravens. And they just no-showed in a way in that AFC Championship game. Maybe not no-show, that's a little harsh, but they just got so beaten up that now as they go into this season, you know, Lamar has the most pressure of any individual person in the entire NFL. And to let him skate on those expectations or to say, oh, it hasn't been his fault or everyone around him or this, that, the guy's enjoyed a top defense for years. He's got good coaching. And he's the dude who's supposed to elevate the receivers. We expect that from Mahomes. We expect that from Josh Allen. We expect it from Burrow. We expect it from all the great quarterbacks to elevate their receivers. Why wouldn't we expect that from Lamar?
He is elevating those receivers. He's turning them from hot garbage to garbage. Honestly, it's hard in that offense because they run the ball so much, and I think they're going to run like crazy. I mean, you don't sign Derrick Henry because you want to have more passing yards. I know Todd Monken's more of a passer, so they're going to do the same thing, just pound it out in the regular season. It's just that formula, running quarterbacks and run game, not always working in modern playoffs. I mean, obviously, what happens is I think the defenses can adjust to the running quarterback. You can't do it during the regular season because you got to, you don't have time. Right. But in the playoffs, obviously, you could adjust to a running quarterback. I think history shows that as well.
But you think with colder weather in the playoffs, like as we get into, that the run game becomes so much more important.
Yeah, but think of the great running quarterbacks. They haven't had any playoff success. My guy, Randall Cunningham, was prolific running the ball. Never worked in the playoffs. Michael Vick really never did anything in the playoffs. Who else are the top guys? Josh Allen, I guess, is one of the great runners, but he hasn't really run much in the playoffs. I can't picture him. Has he had a big running game in the playoffs?
Well, it's always a part of his game, but in terms of he's been as far as he has a better playoff record than Lamar Jackson, but he's been as far as Lamar Jackson. They've both only been to the championship game.
I think it's part of the reason. Like even last year's AFC title game, nobody was like, "Oh man, the Ravens are heavy favorites in this one." I just don't think the expectations are there. Like it's like do or die for them at all. You keep on bringing up the Niners having more pressure
as a team,
right? Because I think that's part of the reason we don't put pressure on Lamar because we don't think that the Ravens have such an easy path to the Super Bowl. Yeah, they're going to be a great regular season game. They're going to run, and then become playoffs. Everyone knows what's coming, and you can adjust.
I just feel like it's letting, not I'm saying Lamar off the hook, like he needs to be, under the spotlight, but he should be. Anyone else who had won 2 MVPs, and we talk about this even in other sports, you win 2 MVPs, but you have not won a Super Bowl or a championship, you should be under the most pressure because that's the way this thing works. You get all the accolades. You are acknowledged as one of the best. And if you don't actually win, I'm not saying his career's bad or whatever. I'm just talking about the amount of pressure that should be on him this year. It should be him first and foremost.
Well, yeah, but I mean, people don't really think that he's like the Super Bowl winning quarterback. Like Burrow, that guy, like he's going to win a Super Bowl.
Well, at least he already got to one.
Yeah, like he's shown to play. He's got sort of that playoff style passing. I think like there's not that there's more pressure on Burrow, but I think everybody expects Burrow to win a Super Bowl before Lamar. No,
see, but why?
It's just his style play is more suited to the playoffs, and he's I don't know what it is exactly. I mean, if you put out a poll question, who do you think wins a Super Bowl first, Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson, or Joe Burrow and anybody? Everyone thinks Burrow is going to win, right? They saw him win at LSU too. I think that's part of it. He won in college. We've never seen Lamar Jackson win a title. He was unbelievable in college. He was so amazing. But nobody thought Louisville was going to win the whole thing.
Well,
so there's a difference between individual performance and team expectation.
Okay, but Louisville football is not the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens actually have won Super Bowls. His head coach has won a Super Bowl before. You can't, he's got things that other teams don't enjoy. Again, a top 5 defense, top 3 defense, year after year. Like that helps you. A coach who's not an idiot. that helps you. You know, there are other things that's like if you're Justin Herbert, you've got to overcome Brandon Staley these years. You've got to if you're Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, a defense that underachieved when you were putting up great numbers as an offense, like Lamar's not dealing with any of that.
Yeah, but he doesn't have Andy Reid either. If he was how many rings would he have if he was hooked up with that guy? He might have won one already.
I know, but again, nothing's ever going to be perfect. It's pretty good for Lamar. Like you're never going to be absolutely perfect. You're never going to have every single thing. That's why you get the awards. That's why you get the big money, is because you're supposed to be the one filling in the gaps when everything's not perfect.
Name one receiver that he's had that you would want to throw to if you were an NFL quarterback.
Mark Andrews as a tight end.
One receiver you would want to throw to, and you immediately said a tight end.
Well, Zay Flowers, I think, is very good. He was a rookie last year. I mean, it's not like this guy can't develop. He was because he had one mistake and now you're going to write off his whole career? He's a second-year player.
Feels like an idiot to me, to be totally honest. I mean, besides off-field trouble, I'm not a big fan of what I've seen.
Well, you're not giving any space for this guy to get better, to be less of a knucklehead. Can I give you a list of receivers who have done knucklehead things?
He might be the best guy they've had, but like you look, they took Rashad Bateman, and as a fantasy player, everyone's been waiting for that guy to break out for years, and he's not good. Devin Duvernay, you can just go down the list. Like, I don't know. Like, you know how the Steelers draft great receivers? The Ravens are the opposite.
Okay, but again, besides Randy Moss, who are the great receivers that Brady had? Who are the great receivers? You know, Mahomes is guys who can't even make another team, have to go back to Kansas City, and all of a sudden they become factors in big-time games. Yeah. Like, you're going to watch Josh Allen this year. He does not have a number one receiver. It's going to be a receiver by committee, and nobody's going to ease up on Allen. No one's going to let up and be like,
everybody's eased up on Allen. Nobody's picking the Bills this year.
He just got most overrated quarterback, whoever came up with that idiotic thing.
Honestly, regardless of that overrated thing, like, do you hear anybody saying Josh Allen better win a Super Bowl this year? No, everyone's like, no, he just lost Diggs. That's kind of the narrative on him, isn't it? I mean, even you, who puts a lot of pressure on your Bills to win, I think you're somewhat relaxed about the Bills this year because you're like, we just, it's a touch of a rebuilding year.
I'm definitely not relaxed. You're definitely not sizing me up.
But you're not thinking, I think last year, to be honest, you were looking at flights for the Super Bowl just in case you had to fly your family out.
No,
there's no looking at flights this year.
Perusing Airbnb. For some lodgings and accommodations in Las Vegas, maybe for a Super Bowl, but I never clicked yes.
Oh, and also the year before in Phoenix. This year, you're not even looking in New Orleans. Trust me, and no Bills fans are. Like, you know how you sort of plan this thing in your head? I'm not hearing that. Yeah, but that's the same thing because the team around you matters so much. I think that's why people view Lamar Jackson differently. Come on,
the team is good. The team's great. They had a number one seed last year.
If you put any other quarterback on that team, can you imagine how bad that offense would be?
But what about the defense? Keeps you in everything. What actually matters come winning time? How did the Chiefs pull off, what they pulled off last year? The offense was actually down. It's the defense that led the way.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to be 12-5 because of that defense and the run game. And Lamar, by the way, is awesome, too. He's going to win a ton of games. And he actually played really well in the previous playoff game. The game plan was a little off, and they still almost beat the Chiefs. They almost beat this great all-time team. He's not that far off. You know who he's Nikola Jokic. He's won a couple of MVPs, and they're never going to give him another one until he wins a title. Or he's like Giannis. Like Giannis was winning MVPs. It just happens. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on him. Honestly, I don't think everyone views, other than you, nobody said like, man, Lamar better win the Super Bowl this year. I just do not hear that sentiment.
Just give out the participation trophies then. If we're all just here to have a good time and we're not going to hold the best athletes to the highest standard, then what are we doing? And I'm not saying you have to win a title or your career is a total crap, but I'm just saying if we're talking about pressure, the guy with the 2 MVPs who has come up small in the playoffs, this has got to be the number one person we're looking at to break through. 855-212-4227.
You got to put a poll up on that because there's just no way you go into the season and say, man, if this isn't Lamar Jackson's year. It's just not the way people are viewing it. It's really about Dak Prescott. It's really about the Niners. It's kind of really about Patrick Mahomes and the three-peat. I'm just watching the Super Bowl picks like, I just not seen a lot of energy towards those Baltimore Ravens. And actually, Burrow is even more in the discussion as a Super Bowl guy than Lamar.
You know what's crazy to me about the Dak Prescott thing? Like, can you imagine? This is the world we live in. That the guy who came up runner-up in the MVP vote has more pressure than the guy who won the damn thing for the second time. Like, we're putting more pressure on Dak Prescott, who has shown you in 8 years that he can't win a big playoff game, than the guy who the players have decided is the best quarterback in the league more than Patrick Mahomes. In what world does that make sense? How does Dak have more pressure on him than Lamar Jackson? That doesn't compute in my brain. Dak Prescott is not as good a quarterback as Lamar Jackson. Why would we put more pressure on him?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
It's a good question. I'm not sure I have an easy answer. I mean, the Cowboys are much more popular than the Ravens traditionally. I mean, maybe it's the franchise and the history of the Cowboys. Baltimore is a little tucked away there. The Ravens, obviously, it's not even I don't know how many years they've been around now, 25, 30. It was a former Browns team. I just think it's the star on the helmet. If Lamar was in Dallas, he would have a lot more pressure. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's an all-time player. All right, so you're welcome to weigh in at 855-212-4227. Is Lamar facing the most pressure, or should he be, of any player in the NFL to win a title? Can I bring you a weird story? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, or you could put up who's got more pressure on him this year, Dak Prescott or Lamar Jackson.
You want to do that? Pat, Ryan, EJ, everyone's got access to our Twitter handle. Maybe we can throw that up on X.
Maybe we should be concerned about that fact. Now you say it.
Well, actually, and I have a story about this that's kind of related a bit to, well, not really tonight's game, but obviously to the Chiefs. And here's this weird story that's happening right now on the internet. There is a document that is circulating from a PR company called Full Scope. So they help celebrities kind of navigate their careers. It's a plan and an outline, sort of a step-by-step, if you will, of what the media strategy will be if Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce break up. Now, listen, these are really high-profile people. They have a lot at stake. You know, how the public views them is really important to both of their brands. So you can understand why a document like this might exist. But the weird thing about it is there is an actual breakup date in the document, and it's coming up. I believe it's September 24th or thereabouts that somehow there's going to be some kind of breakup, and then they're going to have to say it was mutual and how much they respect each other, and then it goes on and on and on. But what do you make of this weird document?
Well,
Kelsey's lawyers, by the way, have rushed to say that this is fake. It's not real, but he does work with this PR company.
One of the PR company's lawyers said this is a fake and we're going to pursue whoever did the forgery.
I guess. I thought it was Kelsey's lawyers, but maybe it was also their lawyers.
Full Scope, you could be right. I think Full Scope is saying this is garbage. We never did this. This is totally a fake. So I want to make sure that I don't once again get caught by a fake.
Yeah, right.
I do think the one thing about I kind of believe it because Kelsey's image and his plan has been so carefully curated. I think it's New Yorker or one of the magazines has a team on how he got on Saturday Night Live. Like they've been working on this Kelce stardom behind the scenes like crazy. Like they planned everything. They had like a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. So it does make sense to me that somebody out there did make this plan. Although I will give them the benefit of the doubt. They say it's a forgery, so maybe it is.
It doesn't feel like they're about to break up.
Oh, that's the other thing. I believe in love. They're definitely getting married. I mean, Taylor.
They're getting engaged. Do you think? And going through with it.
Yeah. I mean, if you get engaged, the odds are that they'll get married. I think she's smitten with him, and why wouldn't you be? And I think he's smitten with her. I can see why you wouldn't be. I feel like she's probably a handful.
Wow, the most famous pop star in the world, but I bet she's a handful.
I mean, yes. I mean, let's face it.
Pearl.
You're talking about you don't want to be careful. Everything you say is going to be immortalized in song, so I just think it'd be tough to date Taylor Swift.
I think Kelce likes that. He wants to be immortalized in song. He feels like someone who wants multiple statues built in his honor.
Right, but the breakup songs can put you in a bad light. You don't want to, you don't want to.
It's really hurt all. Who is it hurt? Her breakup song. All these guys are super famous.
I feel like the guy from the 1975, Matt Healy, has not done well post Taylor Swift.
That's his own
different.
problem.
That's different issues.
I don't know.
He's got some other weird things in his past.
No one's ever broken up with me, so I'm not sure what it's like. But I feel like, I don't know if you want pop stars out there.
You've never gotten broken up?
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
How'd you avoid it? It's just being a human being and going through life. You've never gotten broken up with.
First of all, never dating anyone in high school helped.
So you didn't have too many bites at the apple is what you're saying.
I was a little more of a, short-term relationship guy until I met my wife.
So you were doing the breaking up.
Yeah, or it just naturally fizzled out. Maybe I just got low-key broken up and didn't even realize it. Why, were you broken up with a lot?
Not a lot, but I was broken up with, yeah.
Got broken up with and didn't realize.
I don't think that's a thing. That's just a level of delusion that you're living in that you maybe have gotten broken up with.
No, I don't think so. I really don't think. And honestly, I think usually in your 20s, a guy does the breaking up, right?
No, I mean, my friends have broken up with guys. Definitely.
I've been broken
I don't
up
know.
with,
I never have.
EJ's been broken up with. I think it's a very common thing. I thought everyone's been broken up with. Sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail. It just happens.
It's like baseball. Every team wins 60 games. Every team loses 60 games, unless you're the White Sox.
Right.
Then you get broken up with all the time.
Except for last night, randomly.
I feel like no one's. I mean, Botcher, obviously.
I love the 1975 guy referencing Botcher was ready to go.
Well, no, I'm not a 1975 fan. He's just not a good guy.
Yeah. That had nothing to do with Taylor.
No, it was public remarks he made.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I think he's complicated. Let's just leave it at that.
But I
don't think her men are better off after she's dumped them. That I don't agree with that, Maggie. I thought that
Jake
was
Gyllenhaal's been in 100 movies.
She dated Harry Styles,
and
right?
Her fans think he's a creep. And
Do you think it hurts his box office? No.
Taylor Swift has millions, maybe putting it lightly. I mean, she has hundreds of millions of fans. I don't know if it's hurting his box office, but has it hurt him overall? Yeah, a little bit for sure.
I don't think so. I agree with Maggie. I think just getting that publicity, even if it's negative, does help you and it gets you more famous.
I mean, to Pat's point, Harry Styles, didn't he just go on this massive tour and he seems like he's doing okay? Some of these
Harry may be and I don't know how real that was. Harry may be the anomaly. I feel like Hiddleston, Gyllenhaal, Mayer. I don't think any of those guys. I think
those guys are all doing awesome.
John Mayer is doing great.
John Mayer was in the Mets booth last night or 2 days ago.
John Mayer? Yeah. What's he done recently?
He dropped an album recently, and he's the lead singer of the Grateful Dead and Company. He's making bank, man. And John Mayer's known to be one of the great guitarists. I don't know. I think I don't think these guys get hurt by this. It's just the same way Adele writes breakup songs. If she write a breakup song about Rich Paul, I don't think it's going to tank Clutch Sports.
No, I agree. By the way, I am guaranteed that EJ did not know that John Mayer was the lead singer of Grateful Dead and Company or lead guitarist. I don't even think he knows who the Grateful Dead are. You're the guy who didn't know anything about Fleetwood Mac, right?
No, I know who the Grateful Dead are.
Your knowledge of 60s classic rock is thin, EJ. You will admit. Were you the one who knew Fleetwood Mac was?
Yes. Yeah, that sounds about. Oh no, I know Fleetwood Mac. That wasn't me. But no, it is paper thin. That I agree with.
Listen,
but I don't know. I feel like those guys though, they may have success in their career, but I think Taylor running them through the mud made these millions of women hate them. And I don't think that helped.
I'm just going to say a lot of women like John Mayer.
No, for sure.
I think he does all right.
I like John Mayer. I'd probably sleep with John Mayer.
He's dated every famous woman, or a lot of famous women, not everyone.
One thing about Jake Gyllenhaal, the breakup songs are kind of loving. I think he's in a decent light in some of those breakup songs.
It was 10 minutes long, that song.
Yeah, but it was actually kind of respectful. I feel like they ended in a good place. Am I crazy here, Botcher?
I don't listen to Taylor Swift like that to actually know.
Well, you don't have kids. I had to hear about that damn red sweater for about 6 months.
I love that we're asking Ryan about Taylor Swift while he's wearing an Iron Maiden shirt. It's you know about these things.
Shake it off.
Yeah.
Because not every breakup. Now, what about that skinny actor nerd she dated? Whatever happened to him?
What?
Oh my God.
Which one?
Know Joe Hedwin or something? The guy
the last guy. Alway, whatever his name
was. The long time. I don't know what happened.
That guy is definitely not doing well. He didn't want any publicity, but he got no publicity and it still got run through the mud as well, too. And now Travis Kelce is the rebound that's so much better.
But we're getting off the mark here. The point is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift now have to push back the breakup date till after the football season.
Yeah.
Can't ruin NBC's ratings.
Honestly, they were never breaking up during the season. Although it'd be huge news if she didn't attend a game now. It's bigger news now if she's not there, I think, than her being there. 855-212-4227. I don't know what you'd want to weigh in on that part of the conversation. I mean, I always said that I thought the relationship was not real. I thought it was a publicity stunt. I'm still partly there. Perloff and I have some oddly specific predictions that we want to make for this upcoming NFL season. Maybe Taylor and Travis make their way into these predictions.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get way into that next. Guys, the NFL, it's here tonight. Kicks off. Kansas City, 3-peat. Can the Kansas City Chiefs pull this off? We have picks for tonight, by the way, too. We'll do that in just a little bit. And Angela, the tarot card reader, will be here with us in studio answering your NFL-related questions. All right, Pro, let's do it. Football season, it's here. Prize Pick. It's the best place to get real money sports action while watching football. Perloff and I have already knee-deep.
A secret, it's tucked. Paolo's got a secret, it's tucked away. Hidden cameras in his place, recording all day. When his date walks in, they don't know the deal. They're part of his own reality reel. Oh, Pat's got a show and no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. She thinks it's just a nice little night, but Pat's setting angles, getting the light. Sit on the couch, he says with a grin. Unbeknownst to her, the cameras begin. Oh, Pat's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. She thinks it's just a nice little night, but Pat's setting angles, getting the light. Sit on the couch, he says with a grin. Unbeknownst to her, the cameras begin. Oh, Pat's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. Ready to shoot. If you're dating Pat, beware of the scene. Your night might end up on his secret screen. But one thing's for sure, you're in for a ride. With Boyle's hidden cameras, there's nowhere to hide. Oh, Pat's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. Pat Boyle's love life, it's all on tape. But don't you worry, you'll make your escape. Paolo's got a secret, it's tucked away. Hidden cameras in his place, recording all day. When his date walks in, they don't know the deal. They're part of his own reality reel. Oh, Pat's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. She thinks it's just a nice little night, but Pat's setting angles, getting the light. Sit on the couch, he says with a grin. Unbeknownst to her, the cameras begin. Oh, Pat's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. She thinks it's just a nice little night, but Pat's setting angles, getting the light. Sit on the couch, he says with a grin. Unbeknownst to her, the cameras begin. Oh, Pat's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, a romantic pursuit, but the cameras are rolling, ready to shoot. Ready to shoot. So if you're dating Pat, beware of the scene. Your night might end up on his secret screen. But one thing's for sure, you're in for a ride. With Boyle's hidden cameras, there's nowhere to hide. Oh, Pat's got a show, but no one's aware. Every room's wired, but he's acting all fair. Dinner and wine, rolling, ready to shoot. Pat Boyle's love life, it's all on tape, but don't you worry, you'll make your escape. Pat Boyle's got a secret, it's tucked away. Hidden cameras in his place, recording all day. When his day
30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. NFL season is here. We cannot wait. Obviously, I think everyone is with us. But what's going to happen this year? Are the Kansas City Chiefs going to three-peat? Will the Niners finally break through? That's all big picture questions.
Yeah.
Let's literally hone in here, Maggie.
Okay.
Let's get to some specifics. Let us share our oddly specific NFL predictions for 2024.
All right. Maybe Ryan, we would take a little music for this, a little oddly specific NFL prediction. Would you like me to get started?
Absolutely.
Okay. My oddly specific NFL prediction. I think we're going to have a bit of a controversy on our hands. Mine are all controversies, by the way.
Okay.
And it's going to have to do with Kyler Murray. Do you remember the story about him having to have a homework clause in his contract because they thought he was playing video games too much?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's been one of the major stories from the video game industry over the last couple weeks and months? This new Madden 25 game, right? EJ's on Dynasty mode. Everybody is just crazy. I think you're going to get a story about Kyler Murray being obsessed with Madden 25, and it's somehow impacting the Arizona Cardinals. I think that's going to be a oddly specific story that's going to come down the pike this season.
Or, yeah, I think he's going to try and relive the Texas A&M days, but make it better on the video game.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm totally against this because Kyler Murray is my fantasy football quarterback. I'm all in on Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is about to put up numbers. I think he's going to have a great.
I thought you had to go with Daniel Jones.
No, we considered it. It was getting so thin that we almost oh my God, are we going to have to go with Daniel Jones? But we got Kyler Murray, and I think there's good reason to think he's going to have good numbers this year. We'll see Marvin Harrison Jr., so I hope that's not true, what you said. But that is, by the way, hard to argue that he's going to love that video game.
Yeah.
Okay, my first oddly specific prediction is involving the new kickoff rule. I think it's going to be hard to break long ones because the other team is going to be very well prepared for the run. But I think we're not going to see a touchdown the first 3 weeks. The first touchdown is going to come week 4, Thursday night, Cowboys-Giants, and it's my guy, Deuce Vaughn, 5'5", gonna cut left, cut right, break one long on national TV. It's gonna be a great moment. Finally, someone's gonna take advantage of this new rule, and it's gonna be my guy, Deuce Vaughn.
Wow. This is living up to the billing. These are oddly specific NFL predictions for the season. All right, my next one has to do with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
What else? We've got a powder keg of a situation with Aaron Rodgers and a presidential election. Now, we already know that he even thought and entertained the idea of being RFK's vice president. Yeah. I think that we are going to have an Aaron Rodgers political controversy. Getting more oddly specific for you. Something that's become a recurring theme with RFK Jr. is these weird animal stories, dropping off a dead bear in Central Park many years ago, parading around a whale head at one point.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be some kind of Aaron Rodgers hunting with RFK or some kind of RFK animal story where Aaron Rodgers is going to have to defend himself that, no, I'm actually like a lover of animals or something like that. We're getting a weird, politically tinged controversy with Aaron Rodgers and a dead animal. That's my oddly specific prediction for this season.
It's odd.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. It's specific.
Thank
I'll
you.
give you that. Okay. I am actually going to try me even a little weirder.
Good luck.
I think that Sunday, December 15th is a day that will go down in NFL speech history. We're going to see one of the great speeches of all time. We're talking like Tim Tebow in Florida. We're talking win one for the Gipper. But it's going to be Jameis Winston, who will be, at that point, the Cleveland Browns starter because of a minor shoulder injury to Deshaun Watson. They play the Chiefs, huge game, playoff position on the line. Jameis is going to fire them up. NFL Films will be there. He's giving these speeches whether he's playing or not. If he's actually on the field and they actually win a game, it'll be epic. It's going to be one of those things, it's going to be like Hank Stram at the Super Bowl. We're going to be seeing it for years. Remember that time that Jameis got him fired up for Kansas City? Browns win the game, sneak in the wild card, get destroyed by the Texans again. But Jameis' speech will live on forever, Maggie.
All right, we're doing oddly specific predictions for this NFL season. I've got one more for you.
Okay, hit me.
I think we are going to get a controversy with Bill Belichick. Now, he's part of the media now, and I think the controversy is going to be that we're going to find out that he's been like secretly consulting with the Dallas Cowboys or something behind the scenes. And it's going to come out that he's been helping something with the Dallas Cowboys, and he's going to have to come out and say, oh, it was just like a little more casual or something because, I guess, is he supposed to be an objective member of the media now? I don't know. We're going to get a controversy with Bill Belichick that he's secretly consulting with a team, and that team is the Cowboys.
That's going to be very problematic because he's also secretly consulting, and actually not even that secretly, with the Eagles. He's been doing half the Eagles moves. So you think Matt Patricia got defensive coordinator job last year because he's a nice guy? He's close to Howie. I think it's more likely, and you know how the Eagles work in the background. It's going to be the Eagles. I love that thing, but Jerry's not listening to anyone. So I think it's more likely that Bill Belichick tells Howie Roseman to sit down Nick Sirianni or something like that. All right, my last one is DK Metcalf at a certain point is going to get really angry and almost physical with new offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. Now, this is just because I've seen a lot of interviews. DK is one of my favorite players. He's unbelievable. He's a powder cake. If he doesn't have 1,800 yards receiving, he's going to kill someone this year. He's going to be like, throw me every football. He is just fired up. And I don't even think this is a bad thing. At some point, we're going to see DK Metcalf physically threatening his offensive coordinator. That sounds mean, by the way, but it's going to be so cool because he's the best.
Those are your oddly specific NFL predictions. Bogish, what do you think?
Bogish. They were specific. I was impressed with the specificity of picking particular dates or people, and Perloff seemed confused or not confident in yours, but we are 100% getting something bonkers out of Aaron Rodgers this year.
Thank you.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers in an election, this kind
Something's
of election.
gonna happen.
So, I thought maybe I was like, is he going to launch like a politics podcast? That's not controversial enough.
I think it'll be way more controversial than an animal. I agree. It's going to be, but
RFK's got these weird animal stories that keep coming around, and he's clearly closest to RFK. So
yeah, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers
dots.
played in Green Bay, where everyone famously wears orange because it's the hunting color.
Yeah.
So I think Aaron Rodgers I think he's probably a hunter. Like,
I'm not against hunting. I'm from upstate New York. Everyone there hunts. I'm against dropping a dead bear off in Central Park and then blaming it on a bicycle accident. It seems a little bonkers.
Well, yeah,
That's a banana story.
Yeah, but first of all, that was a long time
ago.
Yeah, I think,
but it still happened.
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers is more likely to undermine the Ukraine-Russia war than to actually show up with a dead Komodo dragon. I'm just saying. I think Aaron Rodgers has much bigger goals than a dead animal. So I totally agree he's going to do something weird. But I feel like that would be on the list of Aaron Rodgers controversy. The guy thinks aliens came down and built the Chrysler Building. Are you worried about him having a dead dog or something?
No, he actually has a Komodo dragon in his house alive, I would think. But my prediction is not animal specific, but it is insane and off the wall and unnecessary to the Jets' cause of winning the AFC East.
True. Well, let me ask you one question. What do you think is more likely, that Bill Belichick is doing something with the Cowboys or the Eagles? Because I think you were 95% of the way there. Belichick's going to do something. He's in someone's ear. But doesn't he kind of shadow run Howie Roseman and the Eagles? I thought that was a thing.
You tell us.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Matt Patricia got the defense coordinator job in week 11, and it felt weird. It just felt like, this guy is floating around over Nick Sirianni's shoulder in a huge way, where, I don't know, I can't see him going to Dallas. I just think Jerry Jones would never let that happen.
I think Belichick's going to be a little, I won't say overexposed this year, because I'm excited to hear what he has to say, but I think that there's going to be some controversy. He's not going to get through this season without anything.
Oh, he's also overexposed. He's now on Instagram commenting on posts.
Is he commenting now?
Yeah, he's overexposed.
I saw he's following two people, the NFL and his girlfriend.
Yeah. I think he responded to something that she posted on Instagram. So
now he's that guy who's commenting on pictures.
And also, every friend who started a splinter NFL media organization is now hired. Bill Underdog Fantasy, 33rd Team, all these. It's crazy. I'm like, dude, just get a network job. Why are you doing 18 different companies?
He's working for ESPN.
Yeah, he took over Tom Brady's Jim Gray podcast on Sirius too.
Yeah, but why don't you, I mean, go at a table like Rex Ryan in the morning on Sunday morning? Like, why do you have to do all these little weird things? Not
by
weird.
The way, by the way, he's following 12 people now. So he's expanded.
Is Brady one of them?
Brady is one of them. He's got the 33rd Team. He's got the Belichick Foundation. That's nice.
And the Maggie Perloff show, which is wild.
A Berg Nadrian. I don't know who that is. But and the Pat McAfee show, Peyton Manning, Omaha, the production, NFL Films, Coach Podcast, and the NFL.
Why is
so
he
he's
just
up to 12 now?
Why is he just on the CBS halftime show? What? I'm curious how that'll happen.
He's a little more modern than that. He's kind of
Bill Belichick
spreading it around a little bit.
You would think having a mid-20s girlfriend would keep him busy. Apparently not.
Who do you think set up the Instagram account?
Yeah.
He definitely has a burner. There's no way. He found this girl on Instagram probably. The idea that he ain't following more young women on Instagram. Give me a break.
Bill Belichick.
She was a cheerleader. He didn't find her on Instagram. Wasn't she a Patriots cheerleader?
Yeah, no, he found her
on an airplane.
On the air story.
Right, I'm sorry.
I agree.
She's a professional cheerleader, whatever that means.
In reality, no, isn't she like a PhD student? Or is she's like a
cheerleader.
She showed him her homework on the plane.
Yeah.
But he is a horn dog. That is a fact. That is a fact.
We all saw the ring.
He's the Pat Boyle of NFL coaching. He's no doubt about that.
I get all these women on Instagram. You think he's gonna be following just his girl? Come on.
Yeah. By the way, and if I was that 24-year-old, I would watch out because Bill is busy on that phone.
Well, EJ, as somebody with a girlfriend, I'm sure you know, Explore page. It's not about the following.
That's not good for business.
See, yeah, this Explore page gets you in trouble. You got to make sure you do not interested whenever someone comes up, so it doesn't keep coming up. Otherwise, you'll be in a lot of trouble.
Or you do the old thing
the hard
where
way.
You save women's phone number under men's names. Like Daniel is really like, you guys know that. Like, if you go into your boyfriend's phone and you see a lot of new dudes, like, hey, who's this Matt guy?
I'd stop talking
Matt
now.
is really Barbara. Well, I'm married, so I don't do any of these tricks, but I know they exist.
Your friend, your single friends do that.
Yeah.
Why,
Pat,
is,
you know
Matt,
what I'm talking
why
about.
is Matt sending you an eggplant emoji? What guys do?
Matt's
Caleb
really
said
Stacey.
you up.
Yeah.
It's weird. I feel like works in accounting. Why would he care if you're up on a Saturday night?
Yeah. Why did you meet Matt at 2:00 at a bar last night? That's weird.
Talking about fantasy again, huh? Football. Bogus. Oh, we did this again.
But we did learn about the Explore page hack on Instagram, so I think this is a win-win for everybody.
No, that's the minefield is the Explore page, right? That's what you guys are talking about.
No, that's where you go
when
when
you can adjust it. You can fix it. That's the thing.
But you got to want to.
Well, yeah. And trust me, when I was young in my early relationship, I wanted to.
Yeah. Hey, do you guys notice this? I want to get to the headlines, but now I feel like we don't have time. Can I just ask you one quick thing for the people who are married / in relationships on the show? I don't know if this has happened to you, but now the algorithm is feeding my husband and I the same stuff. So maybe this is also because I work in sports, so maybe I get a little bit more dude content, but it's like, oh, I saw this thing on Instagram. He's like, yeah, I saw that too. Like parenting stuff.
Me and my roommates usually see the same memes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps you out.
It's an intimate relationship. It counts.
It's happened to me. Yeah, me and Andrea have seen the same stuff a lot. I hate when I send a meme to her. She's like, I saw that 2 days ago. I'm like,
Well, I'm getting the sense that everybody in America sees the same things.
I don't think so.
I think they do.
No, I think if you're in your 40s or 50s versus 30s and 20s, I think it's different.
Yeah. Like your kids are not seeing the same things that you're seeing.
We all saw Hawk 2 about 8 hours after it happened, so I
cut
disagree.
through. She's got a new podcast, by the way. I'm
does.
sure that's going to be riveting.
By the way, my daughter sees everything. Because of TikTok, because you can't just watch it for 4 minutes. You have to watch it for 4 hours. Lucy knows everything that you and your husband are getting. I'm telling you, ask her about, did you see this meme 100% of the time?
I'm pretty sure my kids are not getting the Dave Matthews memes that I get.
Yet.
They didn't see Pearl Jam videos from the Garden last night on their TikTok.
Bogus, we get it. You love Dave Matthews.
I'm just talking about the differences in feeds.
I'm
I'm not
amazed
getting Minecraft videos like my son gets.
I'm just saying, I can't even believe anyone in the Dave Matthews crowd even has the wherewithal to create a meme. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just like, come on. It's not exactly a digital crowd, right? Dave Matthews band? It's like,
we're not octogenarians. What are you talking about?
No, you're all just out in the field smoking pot. You're not in the...
And you can still stumble upon Instagram to post a video.
I don't know. It feels like I don't know. It's
there
like
are great. I mean, there are Dead and Company videos. There are fish videos.
Also,
Did we figure it out?
If you couldn't smoke weed and also have social media, no rapper would exist.
Yeah, we're good. It gets done.
Yeah. All right.
People can multitask.
I don't know. I feel like you'd be
Not
like...
us, though. We can't multitask because we can't get to the freaking headlines on time. Like,
None
we're
of
not
them
professional broadcasters around here. We'll get to that next. Opening night tonight for the NFL. We have picks for you for this game, sides, totals, props, the whole thing. We also have Angela, the tarot card reader, who is in studio. Top of the hour, she'll be answering your NFL-related questions. What do the cards have in store for your favorite team? We'll get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We've been talking about pressure heading into this NFL season. And in terms of one specific player, I believe Lamar Jackson should be feeling the most pressure. We have a poll question up there for you. Who has more pressure this season? Is it Lamar Jackson or Dak Prescott? To me, how does the person who comes up runner-up in the MVP have more pressure than the person who actually won it? I mean, they both have, dismal playoff records as quarterbacks, but there's no expectation that Dak Prescott would win a Super Bowl, right? Meanwhile, Lamar is like one of the most unique quarterbacks we've ever had.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Dak, because the contract has more. I don't put that kind of expectation on Lamar Jackson. Do you see a lot of people picking the Ravens to win it all this year? Probably not. I
don't see anyone picking the Cowboys to win it all.
I don't see anyone. Last year, a lot of people picked the Cowboys. This year, no. But you're right. I don't know. It just feels like if Baltimore, they lost a lot of guys in free agency, like the expectations have lowered. That kind of takes some heat off Lamar, I think.
Kevin is our pal in San Antonio. Kev, what's up, dude?
Hey, what's up? I'm just finished my big breakfast. Well, I have something to say about Dak Prescott.
Go ahead.
He could be real good and everything else, but he can't step up to the next level. I know he want to get paid and so forth, and it's time to move up. You need to go up and get out of that zone and take him to another level. That's why Jerry Jones he do his players so wrong. All the players they did just like Romo. Romo was good. He expected a lot. He's out. So he gonna do the same thing. And the history repeats itself. What do you think?
Well, Kevin, I think that there's a lot of reasons why the Cowboys don't win. And I think Jerry's part of it. I think that the quarterbacks are part of it. But I think they would tell you our quarterbacks have overachieved. Romo was undrafted. Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick. They've gotten more out of these two guys than they ever expected to. You can go to @Maggie and Pearl on X and vote. Who's got more pressure, Dak or Lamar? Bogish is here with some late headlines for us because we got too busy talking about God knows what.
And guys, it appears, although unconfirmed, that Penny Hardaway is bad at running a college basketball program. Just yesterday, when every other team is knee-deep in prep for the coming season, Penny fired 4 staff members for undisclosed reasons. The biggest name involved, assistant coach Rick Stansbury, the one-time head coach at Mississippi State. Now, maybe this decision is connected to the school reportedly receiving an anonymous letter alleging both recruiting and academic violations. Either way, the Tigers' turnover has been crazy recently. 5 other staff members left this offseason, while 7 players transferred out, and that came on the heels of falling apart late last season and missing the tournament, plus all the previous NCAA violations and investigations that Penny has gone through while the head coach there.
Yeah, this is a disaster.
A disaster.
But I thought the NCAA stopped them. What possible recruiting violation can you do now in the era of NIL? Like,
well,
what do you
they're
do?
not brand new violations.
Oh, so yeah, it's old stuff.
Well, it's like Jim Harbaugh. You know, he
Yeah.
got in trouble for having a cheeseburger with a kid during the pandemic.
Right. I feel like even that, to me, does not spell disaster because nobody cares about that stuff anymore. Maybe the NCAA is going to do it, but if anybody ever bothered to hire a lawyer, they could knock the NCAA right off.
Well, I know in February there were academic violations. If it's
Yeah, what does that mean?
I mean, if you're faking SATs, if you're fraudulent, like if there's fraud happening, that may be where something comes in.
So
if you're
one-
faking ACT and SAT scores, that probably
No, this
gets you in
was
some trouble
this
still.
allegation. Again, there's anonymous allegations. This one is that they had like the what do they call, like the team teacher basically was taking tests for one of the players
North
to keep him
Carolina,
eligible.
Yeah, I just assume that happens everywhere.
Yeah, by the way, that's the other thing, too, like-
that's wrong. I shouldn't assume that.
These are professional athletes who happen to be at that college. Anybody who's holding academic fraud, even that feels stupid now. I mean, these guys are getting $8 million a year. Who cares what their grade in geometry is?
Yeah, but it's like you shouldn't, that really doesn't help the person long term to take their test for them, does it?
It doesn't matter. They're
Yeah.
professional athletes who just happen to be at that college. It's completely irrelevant how they're doing in that class.
The big thing is that they're not winning games and players
Yes.
are leaving.
Why are they leaving?
And
That's what I
why,
wanted to know.
And that's why someone is tattling on them because they're pissed that they're not winning enough games. So they're going to say that, somebody's taking the test for Ricky to keep Ricky on the team.
Why are the players leaving? I was curious. Is there any? Is it because Penny's hard to be with?
That's the general feel I get, that he must be a pain in the butt to work for and play for, and that no one wants to hang around there.
And that coaching staff has had we talk about 4 guys getting fired this year. Every year he has basically top new assistants.
Yeah.
Larry Brown was there the first year. Rasheed Wallace was there for a little while, and then he got fired because he wouldn't take the vaccine. I mean, my guy Cody Topper, who actually was coaching in the summer league this year, he was great, but then now he's in the NBA. Like it's just been turnover after turnover after turnover. So if you're a recruit, one assistant coach recruits you, and then he's gone in a year.
Can you imagine
where are you staying? Why are you staying?
You're looking for stability on a coaching staff. You're like, let's bring in Rasheed Wallace.
Bring in
This is like when Colorado bringing in Warren Sapp. It's like, what could go wrong? Man, this is going to work out great. Sure.
Wow.
Anything else?
But we love Rasheed Wallace.
Oh, I love Rasheed
I'm
Wallace.
pro Rasheed Wallace. I think it's a little different. Is he good? Is that team any good at basketball? I don't remember them doing anything.
No, they were good up until like December last year, and then they fell apart and missed a tournament.
Yeah.
I think they've made it 2 times to the dance in his 6 seasons, and that's not what he's getting paid for.
I think they've won 1 tournament game, I think, in his entire time there.
Yeah.
Anything else going on today?
The Chicago White Sox won last night, 8-1 in Baltimore, snapping their 12-game losing streak. The Cubs had a combined no-hitter. Shota Imanaga won 7, then 2 relievers finished off a 12-0 win over the Pirates. It's their first no-hitter at Wrigley since 1972. And Buffalo native Jessica Pegula, a straight set upset of world number 1 Iga Swiatek to reach the U.S. Open semifinals.
Doesn't it seem like with the White Sox, all the losing, yet every time they come up with a win, it's like the Yankees or the Orioles, or they beat the Astros one time, I think. It's like they save it all for the good teams.
They have to go 11-10 over the last 3 weeks to not be the worst team ever.
That ain't happening.
I don't think so either.
They just lost 12 in a row.
Right.
Again. And that's like one of the smaller losing streaks of the season.
Yeah, they're 6-45 in their last 51 games.
That's not going to cut it. We are so lucky because we are going to look into the future now. Angela, the tarot card reader, here with us in studio to answer your burning NFL questions. What does the future hold? We'll tell you next. Can't get that anywhere else. It's Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
NFL season upon us, guys. It's here. We did it. Had a little college football appetizer, which was pretty good, but now we get the main entree with the pros, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. And if we are going to try to predict, Pearl, what's going to happen this NFL season, well, you and I we're good, but we're not great.
To quote Yogi Berra, predicting things is hard, especially the future.
Very good. So we had to bring in a little help, the big guns, so to speak. If we really want answers about what's going to happen this NFL season, we had to turn to our very good friend, Angela, who is a tarot card reader right here in New York City. And you can follow her on social media. Angela, first, thank you so much for coming back to see us.
Thank you for having me back. I love being on your show.
Now, the last time you were here, you gave me some news I needed to hear. Quite frankly.
Was it bad news?
Well, it's not you. Okay. It was the cards. I asked if the Buffalo Bills will win a Super Bowl in the next 5 years, and not only was the answer a resounding no, there was a raven-haired lady that was somehow getting in the way, and that could have been taken a couple different ways. But anyway,
okay.
I was happy you told me because, quite frankly, the pressure's off because this is...
now you can just be a genuine fan.
I can just relax a little bit. Yeah. It just may not happen in the next 5 years. And that's okay because Josh Allen's prime is going to last for the next 10.
It had a big impact. She would bring it up almost on a weekly basis. Well, they're not winning anyway.
That's great.
I only went into a deep depression for a little bit, but I'm out of it. And, it's that kind of truth, though, that we're looking for with the cards. So first, tell everybody where we can find you on social media.
You can find me. You can email me, Angela, at tarot-cardreader.com. Instagram, tarot card reader Angela Lucy. So those two places are pretty safe. You can find me pretty quickly that way.
Fantastic. We asked football fans, can you send us in some of your burning questions? So if you would like to watch this all go down, you can do it. YouTube.com/InfinitySportsNet, Twitch.tv/InfinitySportsNetwork, and at Maggie Gray on X. We're streaming there in all of these places. So let's get to it, shall we?
Let's get some knowledge here, Maggie.
Okay, Angela, we know this.
Drum roll.
This is what you do, and we are excited to tap into what the future could hold. Now, one of the big stories here in New York, but also just throughout the country, is about Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Very famous quarterback. He's very good. Last year, he got hurt 4 plays into the season.
I remember hearing something about this, but I got to tell every full disclosure, I don't follow NFL.
Yeah, this is better because you're objective. And the cards are objective.
Yeah, I don't have an emotional attachment to it.
The question we're asking, will Aaron Rodgers stay healthy this season?
Great question, considering. Okay.
So here we go. Angela's here in studio. She's got the tarot cards.
Okay, I call upon the highest positive forces to help me with this reading. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. I'm going to do 3 cards like beginning, middle, end of season for Aaron Rodgers' health.
Love it.
It seems like he starts off slow. Like they may save him a little bit because I get the Chariot card reversed, and it just means, hey, we're not going to put the pedal to the metal right away. Maybe they're testing him. Okay.
That sounds smart.
Yeah, that actually is a good strategy.
And also the bottom card that I just accidentally looked at, and sometimes the angels ask me to look at this one, is they're planning for him more in the distant future. They want to keep him healthy in the long run.
Fair.
Okay.
So, in the middle of the season, he seems really healthy. This is the Ace of Swords, clarity. Everything's really clear. They've tested him. It seems like it's very, normal. This is Archangel Michael's sword, clarity, everything seems cool. Okay. End of the season. Ooh, this would be maybe dangerous because, I want you to be a little careful at the end of the season because I get the heartbreak card.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's a card the Jets fans know very well. Does a heartbreak card mean what we think it means?
Yeah, that maybe there's a little disappointment and people are sad.
Okay, but it's the end of the season.
Yes, end of the season.
So he's there.
Yeah, it's like they start him off slow because I get the Chariot reverse. Yeah. Like they're not, not full speed ahead. They're like being cautious. Middle of the season, here we go. Okay, everyone kind of forgot about his injuries. Okay, then by the end of the season, when he's tired or when it's been a tough season, there may be some problems. Yeah, let me see. I'm going to pull another card just to see what's going on. Does he have a wife or girlfriend?
Yeah, I think there's some rumors he's dating
Mallory Edens.
Mallory Edens, the owner of the Bucks.
We don't know.
Not sure. It's speculative, but it seems like there's a strong woman in any case that's taking care of him and helping him. So
Oh,
he
that
does
would make
have
sense.
he does have emotional support, and she's pretty cool. I don't know who Mallory Eden
Yeah,
is,
I
but
mean,
she's like a strong person for him.
Wow, I mean, considering he broke up with Danica Patrick and Olivia Munn apparently ruined his family.
Shailene Woodley.
Shailene Woodley was fine. There's a book about this guy. His 2 girlfriends ago just tore apart his entire life and broke him up from his parents. According to the book.
Well, it played a
That's
role.
my version.
Yeah. I was gonna say, is that really what the book said?
Yeah, it's
okay.
kind of what the book said.
So let's go back through what we just asked the question. Well, of Angela, a tarot card reader who's here with us in studio. We asked, will Aaron Rodgers stay healthy through the season? You said we start off great.
Well, start off slow.
Start slow. I'm sorry.
Because they're not going to play him like as much as they usually do.
Okay.
That kind of thing, like ease him in. Middle of the season, I think it's a little more clear, and he's like, it's good to go. Ace of Swords, here we go. I'm running down the field.
Okay.
Okay. And then by the end of the season, it looks like there's a little hesitancy, and I get some heartbreak.
And we got the heartbreak
like
card.
maybe a recurrent injury or something like that. So something like that.
Okay. Well, it's the Achilles that he's coming back from.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, Jets fans, I mean, heartbreak card is kind of like the unofficial mascot of the New York Jets, to be honest. So this shouldn't be that much of a surprise, but you get a healthy Rodgers, presumably, up until the end. Okay. And there's a woman in his life.
It seems like a good support system
And
for
a
him.
good support system.
Yeah.
Okay.
So whoever his girlfriend
Follows.
is, or it could be a mother or something, but it seems more like a strong female figure and she has her own deal going on. She's a strong person on her own.
Okay.
And it just seems like he's, it helps him. So.
All right.
What's next, Meg?
All right. Angela, the tarot card reader, is here with us. We're asking questions. What do the cards hold for this NFL season? Here's our next question for you. Is Dak Prescott the future quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys?
Dak Prescott, the future quarterback of the
Dallas Cowboys. And this one's
Zach Prescott.
Dak. Like Dakota.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dak
shuffling.
Prescott.
You can tell I don't follow this.
That's okay. It's good. We like it better that you don't follow
Yeah,
this. Long story short, there's a bit of a contract dispute going on.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zach Prescott
I
also
don't think so.
has issues.
What's that?
Yeah, not Zach. Maybe it's Zach. Dak Prescott. No, I don't get it. I get a woman having something to do with this. I don't know what that's about. It's just like you said, it was a contract negotiation.
They're currently in one.
Oh yeah. There's a brown and a red-haired man, friendly guy. He could be definitely a negotiator. Okay. And there's a sweet woman, some woman who has a lot of emotions involved in this. I don't know if she's an owner or somebody's wife or whatever.
Okay.
And then as of confirming, I get the devil card, which means it doesn't, I mean, there really is a devil, but that when the devil card comes up, it usually means hanging on to things that don't work anymore. Hey, we're really fussing about $1 million here or there or something like that, or some contract dispute that just doesn't get reconciled.
There you go.
So Angela just pulled the devil card for the Dallas Cowboys, which means, and Dak Prescott, which means you're hanging on to something that doesn't work anymore.
And
If that doesn't describe what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys, this is a team that wins 12 games every year but cannot win in the playoffs. They are holding on to something, Pearl, that doesn't work anymore. And just as a side note, Perloff and I have our own bet about Dak Prescott, and the loser has to go to Waffle House and sit there for 24 hours, and every waffle they eat, an hour gets lopped off the time. I am feeling so much better about this. So much better.
So if they hold on to things that don't work anymore, why won't they hold on to him?
Well, because there's two people that are being not smart about it. Okay, the brown or red-haired guy that's a good negotiator, supposedly, or somebody who talks a lot, and this woman who's a little too emotional about the situation. So we all do it. I also use this card for, not that this is the case with this man, drug addiction, things like that. Things that you're not allowed to, of course you would, I should not be a drug addict. But sometimes you're not in control of that situation.
When you think of redheads in Jerry Jones' life, we all know who that is. Jason Garrett. Back in the
He's
fold.
not coming back. But you're talking about somebody, maybe once upon a time, Jerry Jones had something resembling red or brown hair. I don't know.
It just their natural color. They can be bald or gray. Or dye it pink.
But the woman is interesting because Jerry Jones' wife is very powerful. His daughter is extremely powerful. And she's actually, there's rumors that she's calling the shots.
Is that right?
Okay, when I asked more particularly about the woman, the Queen of Cups is the name of the card, and she's usually quite emotional. And when I asked more particularly about how she's affecting things, I get the Knight of Pentacles. And this is, there are 4 knights in the tarot deck. This is the only one that does not move. He's stuck in the mud. It is something that stops things from moving.
That's Jerry.
Interesting. That is Jerry.
Yeah.
And also he talks a lot. So that really does kind of
this
double
is the
down.
woman.
Oh, that's the woman.
Yeah,
Okay.
because you were saying you were speculating who the woman was, and I'm like, it's whoever it is keeping things stopped.
Okay, so we asked if Dak Prescott's going to be the future quarterback of the Cowboys, and you're thinking no.
I don't get anything to indicate that.
Okay.
I mean, it's just they're very ambivalent about it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe they should do it because I'm getting the devil card. Like maybe it's probably in their best interest to do it, but they can't get past this sticking point. Or whatever sticking points it is.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
It's probably a 5th
because
season.
the devil, it's like we don't want the devil. So it's like if you guys would let it go, maybe he would be the best quarterback. But they just can't get past themselves.
Wow.
And it's totally people. It's not about his ability or anything like that. It's about people in negotiation.
It always is.
It's the ego, man.
Yeah.
And that is great. Angela is here with us in studio. She's a tarot card reader. We're asking questions about the upcoming NFL season. She's given us some crazy answers that seem very plausible, Pearl. These are all been really good.
This is all happening.
Yeah. Okay. Final question, or maybe we'll see how many more we have time for.
Sure.
Let's get to our next one. This one is not as much like X's and O's football related. We asked if Aaron Rodgers will stay healthy. We just asked if Dak Prescott's the future quarterback of the Cowboys. We're going to go to a little bit off the beaten path here. Are Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift getting engaged this season?
Okay, so by the end of the year, do you want to say?
By
by
the
December
end of,
31st?
The season goes until February.
Okay, you want to say by Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Or maybe at the Super Bowl, like that was speculated last year.
Maybe.
Okay, let's see. Do they get by end of Super Bowl? Will they be engaged?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what
Good
we're
question.
asking.
That's the pressing question, right?
Yeah.
This one you know about.
I do know those characters.
I am on the edge of my seat for this answer right now.
Will they be engaged? Officially engaged? Let's say publicly.
Publicly engaged,
Okay.
right.
Upon the highest positive forces, help me with this reading. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. No.
Oh, boy.
I only get them having fun. I get
Okay.
them
Like it.
only a 30% chance by the end of the Super Bowl. It seems like they have to work out some living arrangements and things like that, and something has to change with them. The big changes. It's a big. I mean, they both have such big lives. It's a leap of faith for them. This is the Fool card. We're just gonna do it. It's because she would have to give up something,
Sure.
part of her life. He would have to give up part of his life. So it's scarier than people think. By the way, 3 major arcana cards here, which are the most important cards in the tarot. 78 cards, only 22 are major arcanas. They have the Emperor, Death, and the Fool card. But the first card that I pulled is only a 3 card. It's like a minor card. So I would say 30%. And they're having fun.
Okay.
It seems like it's lighthearted. They have a lot of mutual friends. So I just don't think that they're able to put all the pieces together by
But
then.
it doesn't sound like heartbreak or
Oh yeah,
like a terrible.
let's ask if they're still together.
Well, it's not. Oh, so you're saying that even if they don't get engaged, they could still be dating? I didn't even think about that.
Oh yeah, of course.
I feel like she's gonna pressure him, but okay.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I'm surprised at the reading because you would think, with all the media.
Yeah.
Let's say if they are still dating.
Okay.
If they're still a couple by the end of Super Bowl.
Let's
are they
see.
still a couple? Yeah, 50. They are talking about marriage.
Okay.
Because I get 50% they're married. Because this is the walking down the aisle. They got to figure out how to do it. I mean,
Yeah, that's a good
Apparently
point.
there's a PR
and they
strategy
can't-
out there.
Yeah.
That
I
might
mean,
be
the
fake.
Swifties, they have to be included somehow, right? So, or you know what I mean?
And Chiefs fans too.
That's
Yeah.
a big wedding.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like.
Is that a buffet or a sit down? How do you do it?
Can you
with all
imagine
the
them
Swifties?
looking at the invite
They have
list?
to be
I'm like,
somehow,
oh come on, we already gave your parents 37 people. Like, come on,
Yeah.
I gotta invite this assistant coach from my college.
The
That's
venue only seats 5,000 people. They'd have to
Yeah.
get married in like some kind of convention hall.
Okay, all right. So I'm
or
not giving
something.
up
It's like-
on love. I
Yeah,
think
oh,
it's
no,
possible.
Yeah, I get 50% they're talking about marriage at
Yeah.
that time, and also 50% that they're together. So it might be a deal breaker. Are we going to get married or aren't we? I mean, that's a huge thing with couples, of course.
Yeah.
So, but.
And it looks like the living
pretty much,
situation is part
it
of
seems
this.
the Emperor card is the first card, which is like a house, 4 walls. Also limitations. I have to do this, you have to do that,
Yep.
and have to negotiate that. And Death card means transition to a new way of life, of course. Of
Yeah,
marriage.
retirement maybe
Yes.
for Travis Kelce.
Oh wow,
He's getting old. Yeah.
Really?
So it
Okay.
could be that transition.
I didn't know he was that old.
He's 35. Yeah, for a player, he's really old.
Oh, but people, well, depends, right? If he wants to just play or be really good, right?
Yeah.
And then this is right, okay. And this is the Fool card, like taking a leap of faith. Of course, to me, marriage would be a big leap of faith. It's so super scary, like jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, I mean, marrying Taylor Swift, that's a huge leap of faith.
Yes.
Sorry, can you imagine the song she's going to write about that? If it doesn't work out?
The whole albums, I'm sure.
Wait, I got to get one thing I can bet on out of this segment.
Can we
I got
do one more thing. Thank you.
Okay.
Angela is here with us in studio.
Yeah.
She's a tarot card reader who's done some really great stuff for us in the past and is killing it today. This is awesome. We're getting some answers to our pressing questions for the NFL season.
So the Kansas City Chiefs are trying to win their third straight Super Bowl. Never been done in the Super Bowl era. 3 straight championships.
Never
Are
been
they
done.
going to do it?
Is Kansas City Chiefs going to make it a three-time win?
Yeah, three-peat, they call it.
Three-peat.
Yeah.
Call upon the highest positive forces. Father, Son. Kansas City, can you do it? They have a really good team, and they're having a really good time, but I only get like a 10% chance that they pull it all off.
Oh.
Whoa.
Let's see if they get to the finals.
To the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, right. Yeah, they get to the
They came to the Super Bowl and lose?
This is what I told you, Maggie. They've won 2 Super Bowls in a row by the thinnest of margins, field goals. It's about time the NFC caught them.
That's crazy.
This close, but there's only 10% chance.
Even the spirit guides are like guiding them to be in the final, like in the Super Bowl again.
That's like,
but this is like really high. They're in the Super Bowl, but I only get 10% that they really make it.
I mean, obviously the Cosmos are fans of the Chiefs. I mean, this is insane. The run they're on is just bananas.
But I mean, listen, they lost in 2020 in the Super Bowl. They got all the way to the doorstep. They are, there's no guarantee getting to the Super Bowl that they're going to win it.
Okay, so getting to the Super Bowl and 10% chance that they win it. That is not very good.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Wow.
And heartbreaking. Yeah. Is there any other kind of loss?
Yeah.
Do you have a lot of sports better? Like, you obviously make no guarantees.
Yeah.
Here.
Oh no. The only thing with sports betting, I will answer people that I don't charge them any money for it because the reason it's very speculative and I find it hard to get the real scores is because number one, there's usually so many people involved. Okay. There's like not only the teams, but their mother yelling at them that morning, and so many things. Also, I find I'll give people the answer. I said, if you win, give me 10%. Otherwise, I don't care. Like I'll just do it for free. Another thing is I find a lot of times I've made it. The coin toss is huge.
Mm-hmm.
People ask you about that.
No, but after you're not allowed to bet after the coin toss, right? But when the coin is tossed, that's huge with predicting the winner.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's the fates are playing a role.
Yeah,
in that.
it changes the energy around once the coin is flipped.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so I mean that's why it's so hard for me to. I don't. I'll tell you if you want me to know. You want to know, but I don't really.
Yeah.
I'm like maybe because there's just too many variables.
I'll say business advice. You should definitely be charging these sports fans.
Yeah. But I'll tell
People
you
like
right
us.
Yeah,
We would definitely pay.
I'm not betting on a guy who's getting yelled at by his mother on a Sunday morning. I hope he'd be out of the house at this point.
I got a game to play.
And also, what kind of mom yells at her son on game day? Like, clean up your room. Mom, I got the Ravens defense to deal with. I can't clean up my room.
Doesn't Tommy DeVito still live with his parents?
Yeah, there are a couple players.
Really?
That's been the problem for the Giants this whole time. That's it. This was great. Angela,
Okay.
thank you so much. I know EJ and some of the other Jets fans here, a little part of them just died with that prediction that Aaron Rodgers is going to start off slow. He's going to have a great middle of the season. It's going to be like the injury didn't happen. And then the heartbreak card got pulled. End of the season, we're seeing heartbreak. That's what's on tap for the Jets. As far as Dak Prescott, looks like this negotiation really sticky. Egos involved.
Yeah.
Not
It's too
happening.
bad. It's too bad. It's a shame.
And it's a shame. And not on the same page as far as his future with the Cowboys. And Travis and Taylor getting engaged, we don't see, but having a good time, enjoying each other's company, and maybe having these conversations about marriage and about how to live together and all those things.
By the end of Super Bowl.
And then as far as the Chiefs are, by the end of February. And then as the Chiefs are concerned, getting to the Super Bowl we like, the spirits are with them, but only a 10% chance when they get there. So
They have fun though. It's like they've won enough. And it's
Yeah.
like, I know it's like their attitude is maybe they just don't have the edge anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh my God, we haven't won one in 20 million years.
A lot of good vibes there in KC.
Yeah.
You got Taylor and I get that.
Yeah, they're having fun.
Yeah, they're a lovable crew.
Yeah. It's the 10 of Cups actually means an emotionally happy family, and that's where I got the 10%.
I love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Angela, thank you. Again, tell people where they can find you on social media.
You can find me, if you can email me at Angela@tarot, TAROT-cardreader.com, or Instagram is at Tarot Card Reader Angela Lucy, as long as I could possibly make it.
No,
So,
that's
yeah.
great. And for any of your
Yes.
sports-related questions, I love it. It takes all the pressure off me as a fan when I feel like I know what's going to happen, and it's awesome. I never felt better because obviously I'm controlling so much.
Well, there we go. I guess there's no reason to watch. I feel like I'm not exactly sure that's what Angela was saying, Maggie.
Guys, pressure's off. Just enjoy the season.
It's just for the love of the game.
Yeah. I think.
If only.
Okay. Maggie's just making it a little more black and white than she might want to do. Right, Angela, I know you're doing. Okay.
That's my interpretation.
I like your confidence.
Angela, tarot card reader, thank you so much. We appreciate this.
Thank you for having me again. I love being on. Thank you.
Okay, we've got so much more to do, including our pick for tonight's game, Chiefs, Ravens, AFC Championship rematch. Do the Ravens get their revenge? We'll tell you next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh, boy, that was fun. Thank you to Angela, the tarot card reader. Informed us a lot of things coming up this NFL season. Aaron Rodgers going to start off slow, stay healthy, then blow it in the end like he used to in Green Bay. I'm sorry, it's just fact.
That wasn't exactly what the card said. It did a heartbreak
That's exactly
card.
what it said. It was a very typical Aaron Rodgers trajectory where he's really good in the season and then he's struggled in the postseason. That's just a fact. Okay, we have a big bet coming up on the Maggie and Perloff show.
Yeah.
If Dak Prescott is the week 1 quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys next year, Maggie has to go to Waffle House and eat some combination of, what are they, waffles within 24 hours. For every waffle she eats, takes an hour off of it. Otherwise, she has to spend 24 hours in a Waffle House. Same bet with me, except I negotiated and I'm doing cheese omelets. There's a lot going on here, Maggie, because it is heating up.
You have an update to this somehow?
So Clarence Hill, former Fort Worth Star Telegram writer, now writes for alldlls.com, filed a story this morning. So the Cowboys and Dak don't have a deal. We know that. But there is an effort to get something done before Sunday's season opener against the Cleveland Browns. I kind of thought tonight's game was the deadline, but Clarence Hill says they were trying to do it by Sunday. And per source with direct knowledge of the negotiation, progress has been made during talks with Prescott, and a deal is closer than it has been. Clarence Hill also tweeted that the length of the contract was not the issue, as was reported by Diana Rossini. Now, I am considering offering you an out on this bet, Maggie, right now.
Yeah, this is not good for me. I could have lost this bet before the season even starts.
But you might not.
Sitting at a Waffle House.
So do you want, I'm not saying I'm doing this, but if I did offer you an out, would you consider it at this point where we are with the Cowboys and Dak Prescott?
Well, it depends. What's the out? Like, what am I going to have to do to get out of this? Like, you're just going to let me get away scot-free?
No.
I doubt
It's
that's going to happen.
It's like when you cash out on a bet. I think that you have to eat
like 10 waffles or something?
3.5 waffles in 7 hours. No, I don't
That's
know.
nothing. I do that for fun.
Yeah, if you want to eat
Like, could I just do like if
5
I ate,
waffles on Monday's show, I will let you out of the bet right now.
I mean, I'm tempted just to do that. Did I just eat 5 waffles on Monday's show? 5 Waffle House waffles? Or big ones like IHOP or something?
How do we get a Waffle House waffle in here? I don't know. I've never met anyone who's gone to go order from Waffle House, but I assume you can. The problem is we're about an hour and a half from the nearest Waffle House.
Yeah, that it was going to be like a whole thing. I don't know.
I
kind of want to let it ride.
I could even make it more interesting.
What's that?
I will make the waffles at home this weekend, and I'm a terrible cook. Would you risk 5 Perloff waffles?
I don't know. I feel like somehow tuna jelly is going to end up in them. You're going to do something weird, and I'm going to be back at square one with that bet.
How about just frozen waffles?
That's too easy.
Those are easy. I eat 3 of those just for fun.
Like a box, 2 boxes of those. That's like
16, right? Something like that?
Yeah, but how many Waffle House waffles is that?
Can I think about it?
Yeah, I'm just curious where you are because I got to be honest. I'm nervous.
For me.
I'm nervous for me.
Oh, you want the bet to be over?
This
is saying it's going to get done.
I just think they're getting awfully close. Like, I can't believe it's not done now. Would Jerry Jones really steal? I mean, he runs the NFL. Would he really do it the day of the opening kickoff? Like, I feel like even Jerry Jones is not going to pull an A-Rod and sign the deal today.
No, they could do it tomorrow, Saturday. Like this.
Tomorrow's the Brazil game.
But, well, it's
I
on
don't think
Peacock only.
They're not
I
going
don't
to
know.
sign Dak Prescott on the Saturday before the week 1 of Sunday game. I think
Joe Burrow got signed, I thought, right before the season, right?
Was it the day before, a Saturday, when they're installing the game plan? I don't think so. I mean, maybe he did. But I just think that it's today. If he comes out of today without a contract, then he's not going to do it. Once that game starts, I think we're over.
So Angela, the tarot card reader, was just here, and she said it looked like a lot of muckety muck going on with the Cowboys. She kind of made it seem like the cards made it seem rather like this was not going to happen. He was not going to have a contract. I kind of want to go with the tarot cards on this one.
Yeah, she said it was a redheaded's fault, so immediately any Cowboy fan listening is going to blame Jason Garrett as they're known to do.
Because it wasn't there long enough. Let me think about this. I think I just want to stick with the bet. I'm going to let it ride. I think he's not going to be the quarterback of the Cowboys next year. I'm willing to put Waffle House waffles on the line.
That's a lot. I did the math. You have to eat 2 waffles per hour, and you're still there for 8 hours.
Yeah, I mean that's just a day, a solid, put in a day's work.
Well,
eating waffles.
What do you think of the omelet side of that? If I have to
That's
eat
even
the
worse.
Do you think
Thank
I would
you.
die?
Not die, you get sick.
Ryan, do you think I'm gonna die?
I mean, I'd die eventually. Probably a lot
everybody
sooner.
We should ask Angel that. Bogus is here with headlines. Yes.
You're right. By the way, Joe Burrow is awfully close to the season, but the Cowboys are so high profile. I think Jerry is not going to do that. But
you think Jerry doesn't want attention?
No, I just think that to do it during. I mean, he's the de facto commissioner. He's not going to do it during opening kickoff night, right?
I think he would do it at the 50 at Arrowhead tonight if it was allowed. He'd have him and Dak at a table signing it.
Taylor,
You're probably
sit
right.
down for a second. We've got a Dak Prescott contract.
You're probably right.
You asked Ryan some really deep questions right now.
I don't know. He seems to be. I have, for some reason, trust Ryan Botcher on anything. Like, he could just, when he was talking about Taylor Swift's, messaging in her songs, I'm like, well, he's an expert on this. I don't know why. Do you guys You shouldn't.
I've already told you, Ryan is my emergency contact.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't put your life in Ryan Botcher's hands.
No, I would.
I mean, Pat, who's sitting next to him, brilliant, but no, I'm not going to trust you.
You wouldn't trust me with your life?
No, heck no.
Why?
I don't know.
I feel like
I can't figure it out. I'm a big fan, but no, I would not.
I'm very reliable.
I feel like you take a bullet for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have a plan to populate the earth with young Pat Boyle so you can profit off their athletic prowess.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you needed medical attention, I was like, oh, I might drag you to a bar or a club with me, but then I'll get you to the hospital after.
Perfect
that
example.
kind of urgency that's going to
I feel
help
like
him.
you're gonna be like, he needs surgery. I'm gonna wake up with a shamrock tattoo to root for Notre Dame.
No,
I don't trust you at all.
I think Boyle will be the one with a match, warming up a knife to sterilize it to do the surgery himself.
Right. Which is also
here,
not
bite
what you want.
bite on this, and then
we got to do a tracheotomy. It's like
Yeah.
I'm just choking a bit. I'm fine.
Yesterday here in New York, did you guys see the crazy footage of the water leaking through the roof of the Midtown Tunnel, the river water?
I did not see that.
I'm glad I didn't see that.
If I'm in that situation, I want Boyle before Botcher. Boyle's getting me out of a flooded tunnel before Botcher is.
You're damn right I am.
Follow him to freedom.
Hold your breath.
If you're going to
that's not good advice.
Let me ask you this: if you're going to an emergency room and you need someone to fill out the insurance paperwork, who are you going? You're going to Botcher.
Yeah, because he can write.
I can't trust Pat. I just don't think. I think you would get
Pat,
bored of the emergency room. You'd be waiting there for an hour and a half. You'd be like, I'm out of here.
No, I think Pat would do the emergency surgery when an emergency surgery was not necessary.
I need adrenaline. I'm an adrenaline junkie. I need it. So
Yeah,
anything
let me push you off a cliff and then I'll fix your broken leg.
Does anybody have you as their emergency contact to your knowledge?
Nope.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's fair. That's not a big deal.
he's like a single guy in your 20s, right, Pat?
Correct.
Yeah, except for Ryan. No one would have a single man in their 20s as an emergency contact.
I'm not going to do anything. I can't do anything to help anyone.
I don't know. You give off this air like you
I
just
wouldn't
would
tell
get
us
it done.
that, right? Keep lying to us.
Wait, Ryan, are you a total fraud? All these things you tell me in the break, these are not true?
No, most of them are.
Yeah.
95% of the time.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good clip. Bogus has headlines. Let's do this in a timely fashion today, professional broadcasters, us all.
Well, guys, I used to be very committed to a clean inbox, no unread texts, no unread emails. I have gotten lazy in my old age, so things do start to pile up a bit, but nothing like Orlando Magic forward Paolo Banchero.
2,353. That's the most so far. I tell people all the time, I'm a bad texter. If you want to really get a hold of me, you probably got to call me.
He said 2,353 unread texts.
That's a lot.
I feel that big time.
All right, you want to go around the room? How many? Are we doing texts or are we doing email? Emails, I have an embarrassing amount.
I'm actually much better than emails than I am with texts.
I'm on 5 texts, and 203 emails. I cleaned it out yesterday.
I have 23,659 unread emails.
Oh my God.
Delete
it. Just delete the app.
17,353. I don't know if I'm going to need one of these emails.
You're not
one
reading them.
I downloaded this thing that like helps you clean them out, and I've been allegedly I've been deleting 500 emails at a time, yet the number doesn't
What
go
are you
down.
getting spammed with? Bath and Body Works? Weekly deals?
Dude, I'm a 41-year-old woman living in this country with a kid. I get emails from everyone under the sun.
But aren't you missing important ones? That's my fear.
I miss like evites and stuff. It's terrible.
But
Yes.
do you like star ones that you need to make sure you see right away? Because if you don't do that, like, how do you know that there's not in that 23,000 backlog email, there are like 4 important ones that you might have completely missed?
It's a problem, Bogish.
Like Jessica Pagula might have reached out to you as a fellow greater Binghamtonian, and you don't even know about it.
Binghamtonian. Aren't you guys
Maggie's terrible on
What are you
email.
guys,
That's
the
a fact.
Bobcats?
I'm like, can I just email out like the games I'm picking? She's like, no, you need to put it in a Google Doc. So get on
I
a
got
drive.
23,000 emails to sift through.
Yeah, okay, so spend 9 minutes creating a Google Doc instead of saying, hey, I'm picking 2 games. It's just like, it takes 30 seconds. Read your email, man.
By the way, that's 23,000 emails in one. I got 17,000 in another.
You have 40,000 unread emails?
Yes.
Maggie, this is our first fight. I don't like this.
Well, that's the issue. You got to do what Gmail does is separate into the.
That's what I do. They're separated. So I get the primary. Like, I'm getting the ones from school and stuff I need to most of the
Okay.
Do you want to pick up your kid?
He's still
I
here.
haven't seen Lucas
It's
since
been a week.
Thursday. I have 48 unanswered texts, but that's only because my idiot friends aren't awake yet.
Yeah, I've got 9 text messages not read. It's early in the morning.
I read all my texts, but I have 54 emails. 54,000, sorry. 54,000 emails.
What are you guys doing?
1,000.
Guys, I
Yeah.
also try to unsubscribe from multiple email lists, and it's
Doesn't
like
work.
it doesn't work. Like it's like they sign you up for double.
You can sue for that.
It's not my fault that some third party is selling my data to every company under the sun.
Yes, but like once used to be 0. Now it's like 1,000 for me. That's when I like have a panic attack and I mass delete. I can't fathom having 23,300 whatever in that little red box above my email.
It's like I'm buried now. Like it would be a waste of time for me to go through and delete.
That's a problem with you though, Bogus. You let people have your attention too easily. Like if I were to text you, I know it's getting answered right away, even if I'm sending you garbage.
Yeah, because I'm an adult.
Nah.
And I like you.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, here's a question. Speaking of how much you guys like each other, you mentioned that there was a tunnel that was leaking.
Yeah.
Drunkle Sam's in our chat, youtube.com/infinitysportsnet and twitch.tv/infinitysportsnetwork. If Bogish and Perloff were stuck in a tunnel and Boyle could only save one, who would he save?
Trick question. Perloff and I would never be in a tunnel together because that's not where we do the show from, and we can't hang out outside the show.
Well, you would never be in a car together because
Right.
Perloff will not ride with you.
Yep.
I actually went out of my way to see your son play baseball.
And how'd that turn out?
And you haven't
My kid's in
talked about
therapy
how awful
now.
it was.
Thank God for
desist.
Thank God for the mercy rule.
My kid has the yips now because of you.
It's ruined. Trying to impress Uncle Andrew.
Yeah. Your kid cared so little about my presence at the game. You're like, hey, Jake, this is my coworker. He's like, yeah, whatever, Dad. Can we go get ice cream?
Yeah.
Boyle, what's your answer?
Who are you saving?
Do you want it? You want me to be honest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely saving Bogus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bogues.
Oh, yeah, you've known him a lot longer.
I have.
Are you going to let Perloff perish like that?
Bogues is also
Messed
working
up.
on something for me.
Yeah.
Love life
Yeah.
stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Bogish is making the love
Wow.
connection.
That's the kind of guy I am. That's the kind of friendship that we have.
Trying to set him up with someone in D.C. who's got an oddly shaped handbag with a red light blinking out of it. You're trying to set him up for failure,
Why
like
am
that
I
Washington
mic'd on this
Commanders
date?
VP.
No, Bogues is trying to set me up with something that is unbeatable.
I think that
Unbeatable.
my plan says a lot about how I regard Pat Boyle.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on one second.
No.
No, you can't know more.
You can't know more. I think you know too much already. But
I cannot know more.
no.
Wait, you're trying to. Why? You're setting him up on a date?
Here's
we have
the
no
circle
details?
of trust, and you're outside of it.
Yeah.
You're getting him on a reality show.
Well, the
You're
national
getting him on a
radio
reality
audience
show.
is outside the.
Oh, EJ thinks you're trying to get on a reality show. Pat, you'd get on
Yeah.
a reality show.
I've never sent any of those tapes or anything.
You'd make it.
I think Pat should be on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
I watched The Bachelorette last week or yesterday, and I was disgusted by the men that were on there. It was the worst group I've seen since I've been watching the show for the last 5-6 years. Get Pat Boyle on there. Shake it up.
Pat, let's do this.
That's a ringing endorsement. Thank you, EJ.
I think you'd make it on. You're unapologetically yourself. That's the kind of people they need for reality shows.
People are just saying
awesome.
these nice things because they want you to save them in the Midtown Tunnel.
By the way, what are you doing here? There's thousands of people you should be saving. But apparently only Bogish, not Perloff. Now I'm more intrigued about this thing that Bogish is helping you with. And now you thought I got obsessed about that Washington Commanders story.
Oh, yeah, you need a murder board for this. You need a lot of thumbtacks and strings and
I've already
headshots.
figured it out, by the way.
What?
What's going on between the two of you?
I think we all have a hunch.
Yeah, I got a hunch, too.
I have a hunch, too.
Okay.
Team's got it obvious. We definitely there's definitely a world out there in the newsroom that I'm still not ingratiated in. Whatever it is, the fact
not an
that
accident.
It took me 2.5 years to figure out anybody's name. That was part of the problem.
I thought at first it's because Bogus has some access to an entire college campus, but I'm like, I don't think that Pat doesn't need that kind of help. Not that.
Nor do I want it at this point. I'm 29. That's
a little old. Okay.
A little.
Now, grad school.
Yeah, by the way, I literally saw a light bulb over Pat's head right there. After he just lied about the undergrad part.
Advanced degrees only.
Yeah.
Or seniors.
Pat's looking for smart
seniors.
chicks, I'm sure.
Yeah, she's in her 5th year, her COVID year. She's good enough.
This is the female Van Wilder. All right, I think we got to go.
Why not?
We've got to make a pick for tonight's game. Perloff and I have your betting angle on this in just moments. Chiefs, Ravens. We'll tell you about it next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The Dependable Player of the Week is sponsored by Depend and the Prostate Cancer Foundation, reminding you that health is a long game and screening for prostate cancer is easier than ever. Learn more at depend.com. Okay, Dependable Player of the Week.
Looks like we're going back to last week. Oh, okay. Not tonight.
Oh, okay. Who was the Dependable Player of the Week? Oh, okay. Well,
probably Caitlin, right?
Or maybe Aja Wilson, who's putting up huge numbers too. If we're going to go, or we could go baseball. How about my guy Kyle Schwarber, 3 homers in a game? That's pretty impressive.
You are right about that. Great pitching performance last night from the Chicago Cubs, a combined no-hitter. So maybe it could be the Cubs staff, very dependable. EJ, who'd you pick?
You guys are totally off base here. So I'm going with Titaroa, McMillan, T-Mac from Arizona. Set records this weekend, over 300 yards. I think he had 2 or 3 touchdowns in their win over New Mexico. This guy, NFL fans, if you're not into the college game, you're excited for the NFL draft. I'm looking at you Panthers. I'm looking at some of these other bottom feeder Patriots teams. Watch Arizona as much as you can because this kid is an absolute freak at wide receiver. What he did was amazing. So he's my dependable player of the week. 303 yards? Come on.
Say his name one more time.
Titaroa McMillan.
No? Is that right? I'm wondering because I avoid saying his name altogether. So you
just put me on the spot. You don't even know if it's right.
No, I have no idea. It's Tetairoa, and I watched the highlights 100 times of he's so awesome. It's going to be a tough one for America.
Everyone calls him T-Mac.
I watched that.
Yeah, everyone calls him. That's why. Yeah,
I watched that whole game Saturday night because mostly betting. And I heard Titaroa over and over.
Titaroa. So the I is silent.
Yes, Titaroa.
Yeah, so I got it right.
All right.
Yeah, EJ got it 100%.
Yeah, come on. Perloff?
Wait, you weren't exactly confident when I asked you to put you on the spot there. It's a tough name.
Yeah, because it made it sound like I was wrong. I already messed up Nico I from Tennessee. I'm not doing that again.
Give me DJ.
Iamaliava.
Give me oh my God, that name, forget it. Give me DJU's name.
Oh, DJ Uyunglele. That I
perfect.
Listen, if we're gonna watch this guy sail passes over his wide receivers' heads, we might as well get his name right.
Get his brother's name right, by the way. That's the deal now. Forget DJU's ancient history. His brothers are gonna be a star.
Okay. Tonight's game, Kansas City, the Ravens. It's all happening. Let's talk about this. We talked about Lamar and feeling pressure. We have a poll question up there. Who has more pressure this season? Is it Lamar? Is it Dak Prescott? You can go vote at Maggie and Pearl. Let's talk about this from the betting angle, though, Pearl. We're going to make our official picks tomorrow, but let's talk about what we like about this game. Can I give you a little of what I'm thinking about?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so it's Kansas City and Kansas City laying 3 points here. It's just like the home field advantage. They see this very even. I think if you like the Ravens in this game, rather than doing the points, I would just do the money line right now at plus 124, and we're using DraftKings this season. I also like an anytime touchdown with Travis Kelce is plus money on DraftKings at plus 110. Xavier Worthy, if you want to sprinkle a little anytime touchdown, the new weapon, the speedster out of Texas, plus 180 for an anytime touchdown. I also like unders in general to begin the season, Pearl, but for this specific game, I actually like the first half under at 23.5. Still filling each other out. I can imagine maybe this game takes a little bit to kind of get going.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to do first half under 23.5, a Kelce anytime touchdown at plus 110, a Xavier Worthy anytime touchdown at plus 180, and I'm going to take the Ravens money line on this one. And I think the Ravens are going to win the game.
All the trends are against Kansas City here. They don't do well in the spot. Obviously, they lost last year to the Lions in the opener, and they tend to go under in the first game. I'm also going Ravens. Mine is less analytical. It's called, very simple, the revenge theory.
Revenge factor?
Obviously, the Ravens have had this game circled, and they think they should have won the AFC title game. I've heard them all say, we should have won that game. We were at home. So I think they're just PO'd. I think there's more incentive, even on the road, for the Ravens. And I think that they win this game. And it honestly doesn't mean anything because our buddy at NFL Network, Peter Schrager, who gets the Super Bowl right every year, picked the Chiefs to three-peat.
Wow.
So it reminds me so much of last year where the Chiefs came in flat. And I think there's every reason to be flat here. And the Ravens are probably just licking their chops. They have wanted this for 6 months.
Now,
I think they're going to be so inspired.
The one thing about this is Mahomes is just awesome against the Ravens. A 4-1 record, and just beyond that, just really clean. Over 70% completion percentage, a 13-2 touchdown interception ratio.
Yeah, but what do you do in the AFC title game?
Well, again, enough in that first half to stake them to a lead that they never relinquish. So, is there something about I get your revenge factor. What happens when a revenge factor meets a got someone's number factor? Do they cancel each other
That's
out?
why we had a tarot card reader on the show.
That's why Angela was here.
Yeah, I don't know. I also have that Lions game from last year stuck in my head. I know Kelce wasn't there for that one. So last year
Or Chris Jones.
In the AFC title game, Mahomes was 30 for 39, 241 yards, 1 touchdown, no pick. Which is funny because Lamar Jackson ended up throwing for more yards. I don't know. I just think that the game plan here, Lamar Jackson's not going to leave anything on the table. He's going to want to win this so desperately. He might be cautious about running at a certain point. Not tonight, he isn't. He is going to keep every play alive, just leave it all on the field. I think this is so important to him.
Really? You think so? I mean,
oh my God.
Got bigger goals than just winning the opener.
I think that's
you
a
think
wrong.
They're that burnt, huh?
There's no bigger goals than beating Kansas City for tonight. They just lost their last game to them. Yeah, no, I don't think. No, there's no caution here. Like, hey, let's look at the AFC North. No, this is a big deal to them. I'm definitely, like you, pretty confident in that. And I'd do the money line as well.
There you go. You guys taking Kansas City tonight, or are you taking the Ravens? Pat?
Ravens in the under.
Ryan Botcher? You're taking KC? I'm glad somebody did.
Is anyone not taking that? What is the total here? Sorry. It's
47.
Yeah, it feels so under. But the other thing, I heard it's an interesting thing. This will be one of the most bet games of the year. And you know how NFL lines are, kind of like the Super Bowl, that they might nail this exactly. Like, this is like the most perfect line. It's a hard value to win on this game. Don't you agree on that?
Definitely. Pat Boyle, thank you. Ryan Botcher, thank you. EJ Stewart, thank you. Andrew Bogish, Andrew Kaplan, Angela, the tarot card reader who was with us, the Weedos and the coffee drinkers. Enjoy the game tonight, y'all. We'll be back tomorrow to break it all down.